Education, the
Well, the family.
So let's just go.
All right, guys.
Canada just joined the club that you do.
Yo, what up? I have some delicious tofu and broccoli that I'm going to put in my mouth and eat. That's the plan anyway. Let's watch some Mike Israetel horse shit. Oh, hey.
fitness space can be a bit of a fickle thing. People want to believe so badly in one particular thing, and their emotions can oftentimes be attached to that belief. So when someone opposes that belief, even if it's based in fact or myth, it is going to cause some fireworks to fly. And here's the interesting thing about this, is that it's not always about the facts that people talk about. In fact, it might be just their opinions that are shrouded with a three-letter word in front of their name. Something like a PhD or a DOC, doc.
So I'm like a doctor.
And this title gives them some kind of claim to authority in a lot of different situations in which, to be honest,
How do you prepare the broccoli? Well, I get frozen broccoli, I put it in the microwave for about 7 to 9 minutes to, thaw it out. So it's not icy, and then I just drizzle a little bit of oil on it, sprinkle on some like spice mix, and then I put it in the air fryer. I put it on roast at 350, and then usually takes about 15-20 minutes for it to be done.
they don't really have any reputable authority in. One such person sitting in a bit of a gray area right now in fitness and bodybuilding is Mike Israetel. You may have seen him in one of Greg Doucette's Lambo-winning video series, or you could have just simply caught him on Renaissance Periodization channel, also the name of his company. A company in which was actually founded by two individuals, which Mike was a co-owner with Nick Shaw, who thought, hey, let's make a company that essentially combines science with
Haven't gotten this bike yet. The dude is still planning on sending it out to me. There's such and such things going on, but he is still planning on sending it out to me.
actual results-driven coaching.
The new Armor King trailer's awesome. Bro, I can't fuck around with Tekken anymore. They just have so much dumb shit in the fucking game at this point. Like, even if Armor King is good, I just can't be fucked. Like, they don't have a setting to say, do not fight with this bullshit DLC character, this bullshit DLC character, this other bullshit character that just came with the game. Like, I can't anymore. They went, like, way fucking overboard with some of the dumb shit, fuckface special moves and crap. I'm really psyched for Virtua Fighter. The next Virtua Fighter, that actually looks good. They just released a new gameplay trailer for it.
Thirsting for revenge. The jet black villain returns to the ring! Get ready for the next battle. Section 8. New challenger. Armor King.
Dude, this looks fucked hearted. Like, he looks like Nightmare from fucking Soul Calibur. Like, can you give me a fucking break with some of these costumes? Like, this just looks stupid. He's literally Nightmare from Soul Calibur. Yeah, dude, Tekken's done. It's gone overboard. Jump the shark. Wandering Mason donated $3. Let me see. That looks like it's AI. It's either that or there's just a really weird filter over the video. That's good.
Okay. I love you.
I love you.
You're the man.
You're the best.
Got me moonwalk. Michael Jackson. 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 Hey, moonwalk.
The fuck? Okay. Thanks for the donation, Wandering Mason. Yeah, this shit.
Ready, go!
Yeah, and they're gonna have some more gameplay at Tokyo Game Show. But that looks fucking good. I just can't be fucked with Tekken anymore. It's just too stupid. I don't want to get, like, people spamming some, like, teleport move over and over and over again, or, like, some bullshit new DLC character that has some, like, stupid fireball thing. It's just fucked.
Uno mas, thanks.
You're Johnny Cage. I loved Citizen Cage when I was a kid.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
They should do a reboot.
Nobody wants that. Shit went out in the 90s.
Johnny Cage, you have been chosen to fight.
Tell me you're not some crazy fans. How are you doing that?
Are you coming or what?
Where the hell am I?
It's called Mortal Kombat. It's a fighting tournament. To the death.
Fuck that.
This is a war for the fate of your world.
You dickheads in or what? I'm not some champion. I don't have transformer arms. Or shoot lightning bolts. This shit's got nothing to do with me. I'm an actor.
I find you annoying.
Not the face.
There's a war going on outside.
Yeah, not so sure about the Baraka costume. Especially the way he talks. Just seems kind of stupid, but...
There's a war going on outside. You could run, but you can't hide forever, ever.
It's time to become the hero you were meant to be.
I hope Kano is a large part in this movie. That'll be sick. The guy who played Kano in this was great.
Alright, you big ugly.
No, I haven't played Death Stranding 2. I don't have a stupid dumb baby console. It's not even out on PC. I don't think I'm gonna bother playing it.
Fuck. It's showtime.
Hi Richard, I'm looking for a good vegan multivitamin. Do you think this is a good one?
No. So, this is... Unless that is a massive, ridiculous fucking sized tablet, there's no way to fit this much vitamins in one single tablet, and it says, like, 1 daily tablet. So usually for, like, if you're looking for a multivitamin that has a fairly high dosage of everything, you know, that's going to get you to roughly, like, 50-ish% for some of these vitamins and minerals. You're looking at least, like, 4 tablets or pills. This is just 1. So some of these, I just, there's no way, if you just look at some of the measurements in this, that they could fit all that in 1 pill. So I wouldn't bother getting something like that. Thanks for the donation, though. Handing out to Bond Flyers. 2 Mexican mints donated $2. VG, you have to answer this law. You have a 10-hour flight. Where are you sitting? Oh, Jesus. Oh. Yeah, that's fucking easy. Alex Jones and the Turkish Shooter. That would be entertaining as fuck, dude. Yeah, number 8. That's a easy one. Also, this clip is pretty funny. Oh, yeah.
Raymond, this dog has...
Yeah, pink
and is clearly in violation of the leash law. Call the pound.
I already did, sir. The truck is waiting outside.
Out of my way! Grab that dog! Excuse me, ma'am! Watch out! Oh boy. Raymond, this dog...
Yeah, that was great. I gotta watch that movie. Thanks for the donation to Mexican Mints. Sneed donated $2. Oh my god.
Double facelift surgery?
Did he actually have it done? Is this post-surgery? How is he not, like, cut open and fucked up?
Double facelift surgery? For your jaw?
What is it?
What? Double facelift surgery? For your jaw? No, you don't have any double facelift surgery. Isn't that tainted? No.
Who is that? I don't know what that is. Thanks for the donation, Sneed.
Get over here!
Yeah, no, I don't give two fucking shits about GTA 6. That game's probably gonna suck, and I'm not gonna buy a dumb baby console just to play it, like, early. Blah, donate $2. Let me see it.
What's this guy Saber talking about? You gonna pull up on me while I'm jogging, Saber? Well, come on with it, son. I got something for you. Oh, I gotta zip my pack back up. Give me a second here, guys. Pull on up, Saber. I got 3 extra mags. I got one specifically to go through auto glass. Don't talk about it, be about it. All right.
Since you're not a fan of that vegan multivitamin I just sent you, can you recommend me a good one?
No. I don't know where... I don't know what you have access to and shit like that. Just look for a vegan multivitamin. And, like, again, a good giveaway is whether or not it comes in multiple capsules for a daily dose. And you can just read the label. I'm sure you, like, graduated high school or something. You can read. Just read the label. I don't know why I have to read for you. Just read the fucking label. And then just cross-reference the dose with what the RDA is, and then just decide if that's an appropriate dose for you to take on a daily basis. Just use your own fucking brain cells. Thanks for the donation, 20K Wagyu cow.
So come on with it, son. Because you just threatened me first. Now I'm legal.
Blaha is going to get, like, locked up or something doing this. You can't just brandish a firearm in public for no fucking reason. He's dumb as shit. Like, he's even dumber than Frank. Frank is probably better at life decisions than Blaha.
Only the strong survive.
Freeze him!
Are you shitting me? You don't have any powers?
Just incredibly handsome.
October 24th. I don't know if I'll see that in theaters, but it could be good.
But there's an irony with the tagline for the company: real science and application
No, Jack hasn't gotten back to me for the debate or anything.
with real results. It couldn't be more fitting, or maybe misleading, because while the RP channel floods YouTube with catchy titles like Exercise Scientist Critiques Insert Any Random Influencer, it doesn't necessarily make them a paragon of evidence-based fitness. In fact, their team often veers into the bro science territories. So when the science meets the bro science, who do we get and what happens? I think it's worth finding out. Dr. Mike Isertel, the co-founder of Renaissance Periodization.
Will you just tell me a good vegan vitamin? Yeah, I did graduate high school, but I didn't graduate vitamin school.
You don't need to graduate vitamin school. Like, again, just learn how to fucking read, dude. Thanks for the donation.
Holds a PhD in sports physiology from Eastern Tennessee University. His academic background includes teaching stints at institutions like Lehman's College and Temple University and the University of Central Missouri, where he focused on subjects like nutrition, strength, and hypertrophy. Interestingly, born in Moscow, Russia in the 1980s, Mike immigrated to the US in 1991 from Hillel Day School to then attending soon the Berkeley High School to transitioning into getting a degree in kinesiology, which was from the University of Michigan, which was Mike's path to a PhD as well. Mike actually even did stints of personal training before moving into academia almost entirely. Also, quite interestingly, Mike has done some pretty impressive things with the Olympic team. He's worked as a sports nutrition consultant for the US Olympic teams and has been a guest speaker at many conferences worldwide. In 2011, while pursuing his PhD, Mike co-founded Renaissance Periodization with Nick Shaw. The company has since grown into a major player within the fitness industry, offering books like The Renaissance Diet or Scientific Principles of Hypertrophy Training, which have received rave reviews and topped fitness book charts, in instances actually getting up to the top 30 book of all time in fitness and health. Quite an impressive resume for someone who is an online personality. He has a lot of claim to fame because there's stuff to back up what he has to say. But there is more of an issue here. You see, Mike's ability to blend science with his personal opinion is his Achilles heel. For example, take his debate in 2023 with Dr. Milo Wolf on optimal ranges of motion and as well how to interpret whether there was effective training stimulus in a certain session. Dr. Wolf, fresh off completing his doctoral thesis on ROM, range of motion, presented a case rooted in empirical data and meta-analyses. Meanwhile, Mike leaned heavily into rationalist deductions, which amounted to basically bro science, but make it smart. And this isn't a one-off pattern. In this instance, we saw Mike basically saying that the principles of qualifying a set being relatively effective or a training stimulus to be effective were his own subjective opinions of what training was, and not necessarily any kind of mechanistic standpoints or data-driven standpoints. We also saw this with ROM in regards to what Mike Isertel was arguing, and it was basically the same concept, based on an opinion founded behind science, but something that he formulated himself without any kind of clear clinical trials to guide his path. He also claims cardio after training inhibits gains due to AMP kinase activation. AMP kinase activation happens in both resistance training and endurance training. The science just kind of simply doesn't add up there. But Mike
I think Mike probably is not very emotionally stable, and he just says things that sound good to him or he feels is the case, and he does not give two fucking shits about whether or not scientific evidence supports the claim. I think that's just what he does constantly. He had a guy on his channel where they were talking about, like, smoking weed or taking THC edibles and whether or not that's good for mental health, recovery, like, overall stress. And the guy was just some random fucking pothead that just, like, posts on Reddit and social media. Like, he's not an expert of anything, not a doctor, just some random fucking guy. And then Mike said, this man is, like, the world's foremost expert on weed or something. And it's just because the guy, like, Mike just liked what the guy was saying. So Mike's just, you know, stupid.
His opinions are wrapped in enough jargon to sound relatively convincing for the general populace, and his videos netting over usually 500,000 views, it's a reality that most people digest his content quite well. And this is a really interesting one, but I don't know if you guys remember his stance on physiotherapy. Mike has questioned its efficacy quite greatly publicly, citing and suggesting things that would make it seem ineffective, even claiming it to be directly ineffective. The research also shows that with adherence to a general general routine for physiotherapy, you can yield really, really impressive results. It's not that physiotherapy doesn't work, it's just that these studies are often poorly designed and the inclusionary criteria for these subjects is not that great. Mike often cherry picks data that supports his specific narrative, but sometimes I feel like he fails to look in the other direction. I guess it feels like oftentimes Mike is just sometimes shooting from the hip and injecting his own bias and opinions into the things that he has to say. Now, I will say that exercise science is generally really hard to interpret. It's kind of similar to how there are hundreds of different religions based on the same scripture. It's all about interpretation. And the one thing I really like about data is that it's not just left up for interpretation. Many times you can look at the mechanism behind certain things, for example, hypertrophy. Now, before Mike's fanboys pull out their dildo-tipped spears and start jabbing me with them, at full ROM, mind you, he hasn't done everything bad. In fact, I think there's a lot that Mike has done that's extremely beneficial for the industry, and oh my gosh, I mean, many people viewing his content. For example, there was a controversial moment a little while ago where Mike was featured on a lot of prominent podcasts talking about his steroid use. Now, mind you, the interesting thing about these conversations is that they're meant to be very honest and upfront with the use of steroids and what those can implicate with someone's life. But the issue here is that Dr. Mike is just that. He has a doctor in front of his name, and so people often claim him to be the ultimate authority on very specific topics, which aren't necessarily such a broad stroke for a normal doctor to understand. Yes, you can be a doctor. You can even apparently be a doctor as a lawyer, as Dr. Tony Hughes just showed us.
People come to me when their doctor can't solve their problem, so I'm like a doctor.
But that doesn't mean you've researched, for example, biochemistry. That doesn't mean you know pharmacokinetics and dynamics. It doesn't mean that you've actually been able to develop an actual pharmaceutical drug or understand the mechanisms of its action. Yet he goes on to explain several things which I think are good, but I'm pointing out the hubris in some of it, because when he's been open recently about his steroid usage, it's sometimes erring on the side of concern for an individual. Him exposing his experience with steroids is completely and entirely a unique experience for him.
Reason why PC is better, just watch a couple minutes lol. It's also why I wanna get jacked as possible.
Well, yeah, it's not like you're gonna be able to do that on a dumb baby console. Thanks for the donation, though, Vanquished.
Yeah, and the way he talks about it is that it could possibly be something that most people using steroids are experiencing. And I would assure you that it's not a collective experience by all steroid users. This really does begin to paint a horrible picture for us as steroid users, or at least responsibly using steroids, in a not so favorable way. If you just listen to some of the things he says, he talks about killing people.
You mentioned from personal experience being aware of the dark side of anabolic use. What is that?
How long do you have? Anxiety like you would not believe. Every day that I'm on high doses, I wake up in the morning afraid of the rest of my day. Intrusive thoughts. I think about violence all the time. Well, if your testosterone is 25 times what it's supposed to be, what the hell do you think it's going to make you think about? Another one is a marked proximate reduction of IQ. Like right now, as I talk to you, I'm on contest prep. I'm on a considerable dose of anabolics. I'm not as smart right now, and I can feel it. It's this fog. an inability to perceive a broad spectrum of positive human emotion. I live in a really beautiful area in Michigan, and I walk out and there's this pond and these trees, and I know that I like looking at them, but it's a memory to me. I go work out every morning and I look at the pond and the trees and I'm like all I feel is rage and frustration.
Yeah, I think he probably made himself dumb just from taking too much gear.
And anger and anxiety. That's my daily life.
While steroid use is clearly less healthy than no steroids, it's also very far from the worst thing you can do to your health. Even when we directly compare it to an average alcohol consumer, for example, the World Health Organization, WHO, reports that alcohol consumption is responsible for approximately 2.6 million deaths annually, accounting for about 4.7% of all global deaths. However, research indicates that male users of anabolic androgenic steroids, or AAS, have a mortality rate of generally 1.3% compared to the 0.3% amongst non-users or general population. When you compare a steroid user to someone who avidly drinks alcohol, it's very interesting to find that the alcohol drinkers oftentimes will actually, by data's concern, have about a 4-fold increase in mortality risk, overall leading to significantly less deaths on a massive order of magnitude. And so I actually really like what Mike has to say. I think it has value and merit, and the things that he's doing is actually pretty good, because a lot of people can really, trust me, experience some nasty side effects psychologically from steroid usage. But in the same breath, as I've mentioned before, there's just this sprinkle of maybe his own personal bias in there that does really create some issues with his statements. Another one of his standout contributions is the concept of a stimulus to fatigue ratio, a simple idea that I think is absolutely brilliant. Basically, pick movements that generate maximal muscle stimulus with
Wandering Mason donated $3. Let me see.
I'm done with your shit. Fight me. I said fight me. Ah! 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 I'm taking damage. I'm taking damage. Ah! Ah! Get off me. Get off. Ah! Ah, bro. Ah! Ah! I'm taking damage. Ah! I'm done.
What the fuck? Japanese game shows are great. Thanks for the donation, Wandering Mason. Haha, get fucked, only $2. This will brighten even your darkest days. Gee, I wonder why all these drivers hate these group rides. Oh my god. They literally all crashed. Every single one of them. How? They're so fucking stupid. Literally every single one of them. Oh my god, dude. Dude, these kids are so fucking stupid. Holy shit. So there is a god. And she hates scooter guns as much as the rest of us. I wouldn't give a shit if they didn't drive on sidewalks. The fact that no one has ever gotten a ticket for doing this boggles my mind, yeah. Oh my god. Oh, that's good. Thanks for the donation, huh? Get fucked.
Minimal fatigue, basically isolation exercises.
No, I
Solid.
didn't take
Basically,
edibles.
heavy squats and deadlifts for beginners who don't know what they're doing, probably a bad idea. You're not really going to get much reward, but you are going to get a lot of risk. And if we can select movements that do give us the maximal stimulus, if our goal is to build a copious amount of muscle, that's the best way to do it. Mike also breaks down the myths of rep ranges. He emphasizes that basically what the data supports is that there's anywhere from 5 to 30 challenging reps that seem to be effective. If you get 5 reps and they're challenging, great. If you get 30 reps and they're challenging, great. They're both awesome for hypertrophy. And this really does debunk something you very, very often see within beginner programs or someone who's just copy and pasting programs to their clients, which is about 12 to 10 reps. And it is a significant mentality that beginners can often cling to. They're a bit afraid to step outside of the box and experiment with lower repetition ranges or higher repetition ranges. Another gem here is that he advocates for higher carbohydrate intake when someone is trying to basically build the ton of muscle, because glycogen-loaded muscle performs better than, well, not glycogen-loaded muscle. And Mike's advice here is spot on.
Hey nigga. I saw a clip where you wanted to fight someone who had a different opinion than you on when breakfast is. I work overnight. I wake up at 6 p.m. and eat breakfast. Fight me, bitch. I'll show you what fucking breakfast is.
All right, I'll fight you. Breakfast is anywhere between 4 to 10 a.m. After that, it's something else. It's brunch or some shit. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan.
If you're lean enough and you're wanting to go into a massing phase where you can create the most hypertrophic result, yeah, you want to increase your calories by primarily increasing carbohydrate intake.
What's your favorite pre-workout and non-fiction books?
Pre-workout books? I have read very fucking few non-fiction books. I've read some, like, I don't know if they'd be called autobiographies. The Roald Dahl autobiography was really cool. That was a great autobiography. Che Guevara's Motorcycle Diaries. Yeah, Che Guevara's Motorcycle Diary was really good. Other than that, I don't know if I've ever read any other non-fiction books. As far as like pre-workout books. Like I would say Berserk is probably the most dope shit to read before you have to have a workout. But thanks for the donation, Kodo.
nuggets of wisdom, which are few compared to the many he's given, are wildly useful for the fitness industry, especially the people who are just beginning their journey. It's undoubtedly helped thousands and thousands of people get started with their bodybuilding or just training in general. But I think what really sets Mike apart from just training advice and being the generic bodybuilder online is his ability to deep dive into philosophical topics. On his secondary YouTube channel, Mike tackles heavy subjects from what is the purpose of life to porn is bad.
Mike's second channel is just pure garbage. He has no clue what he's talking about anything.
Oh my gosh, even communism not being that bad. And I think the duality of man is good here. Having multiple opinions on different things is awesome, and having especially great hobbies I think is also really, really cool. And I think for me at least, it's why I really enjoy Mike, even if he does have some highly contrarian views on certain topics. In his video, What is the Purpose of Life?, he goes on to explain that this channel that he has created on the side of Renaissance periodization is basically about making progress, not just in exercise, but in all things in life. There too begins a series of videos where he talks about these matters pretty in depth. Hard matters about life and its really controversial topics. While this isn't really my subject to cover, and
Son Goku Donate Tellers, the left is mainly fueled by neuroticism while the right is fueled by ignorance and retardation. True or false? Yeah. That's about right. Turd sandwich or a giant douche. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
And I do love this stuff, but I'm not really one to divulge it into this channel. I do think you should really look at it if you're interested. It's not really great, but I do think you should walk into it with a critical mind and think critically about the things he's saying, and then also walk in with an open mind. Be willing to listen to what he has to say. Because this is really where you can see a lot of Mike's beliefs shine through just the content film of his Renaissance periodization group. For instance, porn isn't bad, and communism isn't bad. Funny coming from a guy that's from Russia. An American soldier, damn it. Well, at the end of the day, whether you like Mike or not, he hasn't murdered anyone like other influencers we've talked about. He hasn't beat up animals like other influencers we've talked about. He hasn't misled people to dangerous proportions, which, like other people we've talked about, have definitely done. I mean, he hasn't even developed a criminal record that we can publicly view online, which, again, for most of the people I've covered, is not something that they can say. Is he the best bodybuilder in the world? No. Is he the best educator in the world? No. But is he hitting basically about center mass with most things, meaning that he's dead on?
No.
With the average? He's not so great at one thing or so awful at another. He's just about good enough at all things. Yeah, that's kind of Mike. And I think people...
No, most of what he posts is just subpar at this point.
Get this idea that you really have to be able to say the right things at all times, but the reality is, as a consumer, it's your responsibility to be able to question and think critically and question everything you hear. When you have beliefs, it's really important to ask, where did I get this belief from and why do I believe it?
Of trafficking teenage girls for Jeffrey Epstein, cutting a secret deal to get out of jail free? Is the president dangling a pardon to someone who can help him?
Dodo Donatillers, what kind of alien is this? Oh. I think that's a little seal. Oh. Give him some spaghetti. He'd like some nice warm spaghetti. Oh. I just want to give that little guy some spaghetti. Wow.
Lol, I just found the key to being a manly man. I think you better listen, Richard.
Let me take a look.
I do think that there is a direct correlation between someone's testosterone and their politics. love to have a study done on this. On young men, the lower their testosterone,
Pretty sure there already is a study on this.
the more likely they are to be Democratic. Democrats are not going to be able to win over high testosterone men because they're too self-directed. Said differently, the lower your testosterone is, the more, of course, the more likely you are going to be subservient and compliant. Our republic needs alpha men.
So, in Charlie Kirk's world, high T means manliness, rebellion, and maybe
That's
a
just
MAGA hat. Low
embarrassing.
T, and you're apparently lining up for your 9th booster and asking the government to tuck you in. No real science cited, but Kirk's bold claim about turning masculinity into a political test is actually a thing.
There's always been a gender divide with political affiliation. So, and that's just for a simple reason. Men are more, interested in meritocracies, and women are more egalitarian. So you're going to see these sorts of, preferences play out with, who somebody votes for or what party somebody affiliates with. But the idea that just having more testosterone will make you vote for Trump is just fucking retarded. Like, shooting somebody up with steroids is not going to make them vote Trump if they just think a certain way. Let me see. Why are people complaining that some companies are trying to make work more relaxed and enjoyable? I guess people are upset that they have to work harder.
Deixar de compreender a importância da
Brazilian President Lula just stated that the U.S. has tried to stage a coup in Brazil. He also says it's time for the world to move away from using the U.S. dollar in international trade.
relação diplomática com os Estados Unidos, que já dura 201 anos. Eu não vou esquecer que eles também já deram o golpe aqui. Ajudaram a dar golpe. Mas o que eu quero saber é daqui para frente o que é que eu faço. E daqui para frente eles têm que saber que nós temos o que negociar. Nós temos tamanho, nós temos postura, nós temos interesses econômicos e interesses políticos para negociar. Eu não vou abrir mão de achar que a gente precisa procurar construir uma moeda alternativa para que a gente possa negociar com os outros países. Eu não preciso ficar subordinado.
This whole BRICS thing is just fucktarded, dude. Just wait for Donald Trump to die or the administration to go away. Everyone's gonna vote Democrat next election. This BRICS thing is just a meme, complete joke. It's gonna be a complete and utter failure, and every fucking country doing this BRICS scheme is just gonna go broke.
Get out of a never-ending bad news cycle. And who exactly does the Justice Department work for these days? Ghislaine Maxwell, who is currently serving a 20-year sentence in federal prison in Florida, just spent 2 days huddled up with Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. You might remember Blanche as Donald Trump's former criminal defense lawyer. Now he's the second in command at the Justice Department, and Trump has given...
Oh my god. Oh. Let me see, Dodo. Fucking weird.
All right, friends, it's Simon, and I just came across this video right now. I just popped it up, and all of a sudden, it's on our good friend here, Vegan.
Vegan Gains admits to taking steroids, is a fake natty. How am I a fake natty if I openly state that I'm on steroids? Oh man, I love these comments. Vegan Gains has been on steroids for years, yet all his ignorant, naive fanboys kept claiming he was natty and kept getting all butthurt every time anyone said he was on steroids.
It's funny. I'll fight you anytime you're free. I'll fucking give you a knuckle sandwich. And how about you don't eat until 4 AM to 10 AM, and I guess you can call that fucking breakfast, dipshit.
Okay, you're on. Thanks for the donation, Killian Titan. Obviously, he hardly got to 285 on a vegan diet. Now it makes sense. What the fuck? Oh my god, these people are fucking crazy. Dude, like they're... If you unironically watch Genetic Beast, like... There's no help for you.
He's taking steroids, bro, because listen to this. This is interesting.
And why their skin color is the way it is may be
How do you know which steroid and peptide suppliers are legit? Also, what is the monthly cost going to be for your GH and test usage?
You see, I always knew he was a fake, man. Vegan people cannot build...
Like, I've literally just started taking steroids 3 days ago. I only just took my 3rd injection today. And then they're like, he's always been on steroids. Like, if you're caught, like, I don't know, drinking or smoking crack, like, do we have the same standard? Oh, so you've always been a crack addict. Like, what? Oh, this is funny.
Muscles, this vegan diet stuff, whatever. But I think he's cheating anyways. I don't really think he's a real vegan because...
Not only have I always been on steroids, but I'm a fake vegan too, on top of that.
No way you could live this long and not suffer from scurvy. Because it's...
Scurvy? Scurvy's a vitamin C deficiency. You get vitamin C from fruit.
Scurvy is based on a lack of an amino acid. And...
No, it's a lack of vitamin C.
These plants, amino acids, man, they're deficient and they don't upload like that of animal protein in humans. But anyways, let's get to this video where he's talking about his steroid usage.
Who is this guy? Is he on disability or something? Because he's like retarded? Like, is he... What does he do? I've never seen him mention any kind of job. Like, this guy's nuts. I don't know if he's getting like some sort of disability from, he's Canadian. He actually used to live pretty close to me. I think he was like near downtown Toronto.
Third-party testing. So the supplier that I'm getting it from tests their stuff through Joshik. Just look up Joshik steroid tests. So I know what I'm getting is real. You can also like read reviews online, see what people are saying. I kind of try to avoid Reddit because Reddit is a retarded, dumb shit, fuckwit rabbit hole where people deliberately lie about certain suppliers for whatever fucking reason. Joshik, then for the donation Mockin'.
And I always knew this guy was a fake. You know, it's funny how I just came across this video exactly. I just turned it off.
Yes, if you ever take steroids, that means you've always taken steroids.
And exactly, he started admitting to it, which is kind of really odd, isn't it? Wow. And I was like, damn, I gotta record this part. This is hilarious. Anyways, tell me what you think about that. Like, subscribe, support the channel. So vegan.
Like, why would I just suddenly come out and say I'm on steroids if I've been, like, trying to be a fake natty this whole time? I don't know, this conspiracy theory doesn't really make much sense.
Slave is a roid user.
Forgot my namification, donate $2, dude, please. Call him, if not today, sometime soon, please, dude. Call who? Genetic Beast? I don't know if I saved his number. I remember I called him at some point. Do I even have it? Yeah, I don't. Somebody messaged me his number and then I called him, but I can't remember what the fuck his number is. Thanks for the donation, though. Forgot my namification.
What is new with the Tates?
There's a 60 Minutes Australia video on them that I was going to look through. Not sure if there's too much new. Thanks for the donation, James.
Sir, bro, he's a drug addict. I told you, man, these people, they're so full of shit. His lifts are fake and his fake muscles are fake too, because steroids do not build muscles unless there was damage, which he's...
My lips are fake?
So full of shit. His lifts are fake and his...
Oh, lifts. No, my lifts are not fake. You can literally see it on camera and shit.
Fake muscles are fake too, because steroids do not build muscles unless there was damage, which he's not doing, that could aid in it, but not even that, bro. See what I mean? And carbs and plants do not build muscles. Now, animal products build muscles, but not plants. They do not build muscles. So carbs do not build muscles.
Well, I guess all the herbivorous animals that are eating plants, I guess they're taking steroids because plants do not build muscle. I don't know how elephants and rhinos and gorillas and horses, like, I don't know how they're building any muscle. I guess they're on steroids or they're secretly eating meat.
Those carbohydrates do not build muscles, but they will build you sarcoplasmic muscles as opposed to myofibrillar growth. But myofibrillars don't grow lifting concentrically like him, and getting the pump, that's carbohydrates, and that's part of this vegan cult, religion, whatever.
I think he's a little confused.
Weird fantasy, fanatical, weird diet thing where these carnivore people or animals like him think they can eat plants the rest of their life and not suffer the consequences. Good luck with that one, man. But it's kind of obvious he must be faking it. I knew it all the time. He was a faker, bro. Anyways, friends, I gotta go. Comment down below. Tell me what you think about vegan gains now. He's a vegan slave to drugs. He's a drug addict, bro. What? It's just fuck, man. It's so.
Yes, I'm a drug addict, and it's obvious that I always have been a drug addict.
Obvious. He's on all kinds of other medication, God knows what, and now on steroids. It's ridiculous. I guess it's just a one-way trip to destruction. I can't wait to see when he gets to be my age, 58, what he's going to look like, because I look good at 58, bro. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao, friend.
Yeah, that's why you don't show yourself on camera, because you look great. Uh-huh.
Friends, that's crazy.
Well, that's Genetic Beast. That was pretty good. Dodo donated $2. Can you call Genetic Beast? Don't you have his phone number? Didn't you prank call him once? Wasn't really a prank call. But yeah, I didn't save it or anything. I don't have it. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Hey VG. Hope all is well, man. You looking good lately, no homo. But quick side note, the other day in chat you said Candace Owens' case was going to be bad for her, but the Prime Minister of France dropped all defamation charges. They sued her just for show.
Did they? Should never rely on the French. They're just fucking cowards. Thanks for the donation, though, KDHD. All right. Well, this is great. Vegan Booty messaged me on Instagram after I challenged her to a debate on this Israel genocide thing. If I resorted to having a tantrum, body shaming, name calling, and mocking starving children, I wouldn't expect anyone to take me seriously, let alone agree to debate me. Respectful discourse isn't built on rudeness and ad hominem attacks. It's about maturity and willingness to engage in good faith. When you're ready for that, maybe people will be more open to talking with you. Let's just go to her channel and look at some of the most popular videos here. What was that about not throwing tantrums and name calling and like having a respectful, mature discourse? The woman who walks into restaurants, throws paint around, starts screaming on a megaphone, and telling everybody they're an animal abuser. Right. So everything's fine, nothing's off the table, until, oh, it's the Palestinian thing. So me calling you an anti-Semite for promoting Hamas propaganda, that's disrespectful, that's going across, that's name-calling. But this is fine according to you? Where's the one with the period blood? Did that get fucking taken down?
Animal abuse. I can't show her, but she's literally covered in red paint. I paused it at the perfect moment in the employee's face right there. Girl, same.
So that's not red paint, it's actually my period blood. I'm using my own bodily autonomy to speak up for those who have no bodily autonomy, non-human animals who are subjected to exploitation, slavery, abuse, and murder because of non-vegan.
She literally smeared her own period blood on herself. I don't know if the original video got taken down. She smeared period blood all over herself. And then started, like, screaming and yelling, calling everybody an animal abuser and shit. Like again, apparently that's fine. But me calling you an anti-Semite for promoting Hamas propaganda and spreading, like, conspiracy theories against Jews in Israel, that's name-calling. She also mentions body shaming specifically. When did I body shame Jack? Jack was the one who claimed Palestinians are starving, and I just pointed out, most of the Palestinians in these videos are like, bigger than Jack. So, if Jack is saying Palestinians are starving, then I made the point Jack is smaller, so I guess he's anorexic. I never body shamed anybody. This is just, retarded. So, yeah. That's that. They're dumb. Okay.
With you having jumped on low-dose test, have you looked at the, if any, cognitive decline with 200 to 250 milligrams test a week?
I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Have you looked at the, if any, cognitive decline with 200 to 250 tests per week? What are you talking about? If there's any evidence that you have available that taking 200 milligrams or more of testcypionate per week causes cognitive decline, I'd love to see it, but I have no idea what you're talking about. Thanks for the donation, though, VG Enjoyer. Because you called him weak compared to the jacked, ripped, starving guy, lol. Yeah. Apparently, I body shamed Jack because I said he was smaller than the Palestinian that Jack claimed was starving. Like it's just hilarious. These people were complaining about being $500,000 in the hole after they lost a defamation lawsuit because the person who sued them just had their feelings hurt because they called them an animal abuser. So these are the same people who are against, like, this kind of weenie bitch behavior where somebody can sue you for just making an opinion, you know, but then they whine and cry that I body shamed Jack because I said he's smaller and weaker than somebody who they claim is starving. Like, okay, talk about having thin skin. Hello, cousin. My date stood me up, so I thought I'd stop by. Did you actually decide to go on TRT? Well, it's not TRT. It's just performance enhancement. So right now, I'm taking 30 milligrams of testosterone cypionate per week. That would be 210 milligrams per week total. That is fairly well over what would be considered just testosterone replacement. That's beyond... That's beyond a replacement dose. So at minimum, I would expect my testosterone levels to be at 1,500, but they're probably going to be closer to 2,000. You know, after a month or two doing this, I got my testosterone checked before I started taking testosterone. It was at 540, which is, you know, well within the normal range, like smack dab average. So that will put me somewhere between 3 to 4 times higher than what I was producing naturally. So that's not TRT. That's just performance enhancement. And that's why I'm taking it, performance enhancement. And I'm also taking 4 IUs of growth hormone per day.
Given him a special assignment: solve the Jeffrey Epstein problem. As Devin explained back in 2022,
what do you do to avoid hair loss? Also, your voice sounds a tiny bit deeper already. I don't know if it's deeper already. Like I've only taken 3 injections. I would be very surprised if it's doing anything yet. Like, it's literally day 3. Right now, I'm not doing anything to prevent hair loss. I'm paying for some, like, online doctor thing. Yeah, because now that I'm on gear, I probably want to make sure that I can get, you know, regular blood tests and shit. So I'm paying for an online service where I can just talk to a doctor whenever I want in Ontario. They refused to prescribe me any hair loss prevention medication, and they told me to just go to a walk-in clinic. So I looked into this. For the doses of testosterone I'm on, hair loss isn't really that big of a risk, and it looks like for the most part, the people who end up getting androgenic alopecia, technically, they're probably not getting androgenic alopecia. They're probably overdosing estrogen management drugs. So a lot of these TRT clinics are prescribing Arimidex, and Arimidex is a breast cancer drug that absolutely crushes your estrogen. Like, it destroys 95% of the estrogen in your body. And estrogen actually protects your hair follicles. So I think the people who, for the most part, are complaining about hair loss on, you know, relatively low doses, they're probably taking some stupid drugs like Arimidex. And it's not actually androgenic alopecia, it's just their estrogen being destroyed. So I'm gonna keep an eye on it, and if I do notice any kind of hair thinning, then I'll go out of my way to get, you know, something like finasteride, and I might... It seems like topical dutasteride with a derma roller is probably the best way to go. But, yeah, I'm just going to leave it alone for now, not take any, you know, hair loss prevention drugs for the time being, because the doses I'm on now, I'm not really worried. And, I mean, anecdotally, you know, there's dudes like Boston Lloyd who said he's never taken any hair loss management drugs, and he's done pretty high doses, and he had no hair loss whatsoever.
My nigga, did you see Lil Taev debut? Why do you think she debuted stronger than her of? What could you have done differently? Is this why you started steroids?
Who the fuck is Lil Tay?
Boy, I think about it.
I'm assuming she's female. That's probably why She had a stronger OnlyFans debut. And she also has a bigger following than me. So, like, maybe I could transmax and make music videos and boost my OnlyFans. That's a nice Pagani. I really like the Paganis. Well, thanks for the donation, dumbass. You're on 25 milligrams. Like, are you talking about, just...
I'm staying at E long as possible. If I decide to hope a little steroids eventually, I'm going to be playing this song when it arrives at my house. Also, why do girls get frustrated when you're getting jacked?
You know, it's a sick song. This is even more epic, if you ask me. Yeah, Warhammer 40k beats are sick. Women get frustrated when you start dieting, training like crazy, getting fucking jacked. It's because they're insecure and they want to, like, try to control you and shit. Like, look at look at Sacha Baron Cohen. He was never known for, like, working out or anything. As soon as he got fit, there's a bunch of, like, stupid dumb bitch Karen saying, ew, his body's gross, women don't like muscles. But, yeah. Funny how all the, like, hottest male celebrities, like Brad Pitt, fucking, like, right now, Henry Cavill, Chris Hemsworth, they're all fucking jacked. Especially Chris Hemsworth, he's clearly on fucking steroids. Like, yeah. Oh, okay. So all the big, you know, hot male celebrities, they all work out, lift weights, ripped six-pack, all this shit. But women don't find that attractive. Okay. So they're just trying to drag you down and, like, make you be a loser like them. That's all there is to it. Thanks for the donation, though, Vanquished. Vince Goodrum donated $2. Frank just barely released a brand new short. Okay, I'll take a look in a second. Thanks for the donation, Vince Goodrum. Ugh.
Are you self-injecting? Are you worried about permanent body damage?
Yes, I am injecting myself. I just alternate shoulders per day. I'm using 25 gauge 1 mil needles. The injections don't hurt. I don't get any soreness after the injection, so everything's going good. And no, I'm not worried about permanently damaging my body. There are plenty of things that can permanently damage your body, like just getting injured training. You know, there's a cost to living, there's risks to living, like everything comes with a risk. I could get, you know, hit by a car driving my motorcycle, could fall down a set of stairs, a mosquito could bite me and I could get West Nile virus. So, with the doses I'm taking and where I'm sourcing them from, I'm not really worried about, you know, anything really happening. But thanks for the donation, James. Yeah, Vince, you said you're on 25 milligrams. Do you mean per day or per week? Or, like, are you taking, do you have, like, the gel that you put on your arm or something? What do you do with the syringes after using them? I put them in a sharp box, and then once the box is full, I just hand it to the pharmacy, and then I just get more needles from the pharmacy in another sharp box.
The allegations against Maxwell and Epstein were horrifying. Underage victims said Maxwell gained their trust, transported them to Epstein properties around the world, and then groomed them to participate in sex acts with Epstein. They said he used...
Oh yeah, Frank Short.
Although I was excited after the reconstruction surgery that, it was successful and I thought things were looking better. Now after 3 months, which is the typical recovery time for eye surgeries, they appear to have sunken back in and look very similar to before. Maybe there's like a marginal difference. Maybe they look 10 or 20% better, but I honestly don't think the surgery made a significant enough of a difference for me to be happy with the appearance. And normally I...
Dodo Donatillers, who would you say is worse, Joey Carbstrong or Tash at this point? I don't know. They're both kind of whiny cunts. Like, dude, they're just thin-skinned. I've never seen them complaining about me going after anybody. Like, we've all seen me freak out and rage at, like, Carnus and shit. That's always been fine with them. They're totally fine with, like, disruptive activism, putting period blood all over her chest, screaming at people half naked, throwing paint everywhere. But then suddenly, if I resorted to having a tantrum and name calling, so they can dish it out, but they can't take it. So they're just soft people. That's all there is to it. So I don't take, I definitely don't take Tash seriously. Jack, he's kind of being iffy with debating me. I'll get some more respect for him if he actually agrees to debate. If he doesn't, then yeah. They're just, soft-ass people. And same with Joey Carbstrong. The guy is an anti-Semite. He's promoting this Hamas, pro-Palestine propaganda. And it's not even, like, working for him. That whole community of people hates him because he's vegan. As soon as he, like, criticized halal slaughter, all of them started freaking out, saying Islamophobia. So I don't know why this guy is trying to make friends with animal abusers and some of the worst on the planet. Like, halal slaughter is fucking horrendous. Like, at least if you go to a McDonald's, nobody's going to try to justify factory farming. They just say, yeah, I know it's wrong, but, like, I can't stop. Muslims are literally saying, oh, it's my religion. You're just an anti-Semite. Like, they actually try to, like, justify it. And, we've seen what happened with Anonymous for the Voiceless and shit. Like, I think they're... I don't know if you can say either of them are worse than the other. They're just weak, soft people. That's all there is to it. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo. Appreciate it.
I'll try to film my videos like this and look at a certain angle, but in real life and pretty much every other angle, my eyes look like completely sunken into my face. Like if I look down like this, look to the side, basically any angle that's not like ridiculously, like it's just like what I have to look like this in every single video. Like if I look at anywhere else or normal positioning or straightforward, my eyes look sunken into my face and they still look terrible. And if most days were like, you could...
Dodo $22 VG, if you start balding or before that really is when you should do something because it's much harder to treat. Hair loss then prevent it, but Brian Johnson released his hair stack. Too bad they sell non-vegan collagen. Yeah. What is this stupid shit? Peptide serum? Contain 8 advanced peptides. What are they? Follistatin. That's probably not going to do anything. Tripeptide 1. Nicotinamide. I don't think that's going to do anything for your hair. Curcumin, yeah, whatever. Yeah, this just seems like fucking horseshit. This guy can't legally sell topical dutasteride, so he has to sell this garbage. I mean, again, the main problem that men in particular are going to have is androgenic alopecia. So this is the kind of horseshit you end up selling if you can't sell topical dutasteride. Like, it's the best you can do. So I don't know, maybe there's a little bit of evidence that this could help, but bro, all you have to do is get the like gunk out of your hair. Like, any fucking shampoo will do the job. Stupid. I'm not buying that garbage. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo. And yeah, I know, like, again, you know, I thought about it, and I'm not too worried about being bald. If it happens, it happens. I can just shave my head, and I don't know. If I don't like the Baldy McBalderton look, I can just wear a bandana. Like, I think it'd look fine, but yeah, it for whatever fucking reason, doctors do not want to prescribe you finasteride or anything unless you already have hair loss. Which is retarded because, again, if you're male, you're going to go bald. If you live long enough, you will go bald. So the main focus should be prevention, not, oh, you're balding, well, oh, here, like, because you already lost the hair, it's not coming back. But yeah, whatever. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
See the implants. Most days you can see the implants without me having to do anything, but if I go like this or put my skin down, it becomes...
Are you a kind of hat person? I do wear a big sun hat when I go outside when it's sunny. Otherwise, I don't really wear hats all that much.
It's very apparent that the
How does it feel that Tim Pool has more testosterone? I seriously doubt he has more testosterone, especially since I'm literally injecting it into my shoulders.
implants are way too big for my face. Like that. You can see the whole implant. That's not supposed to happen. You're not supposed to be able to see a facial implant that easily. I was clearly not a candidate for it based on, my leanness and the thinness of my skin.
So Frank is lying. Before he got the surgery, he said he's going to get this orbital reconstruction surgery and they're going to put implants in his face. So now after he got it done and he didn't like the way it looks, now he's saying, oh, it's the doctor's fault. I should never have gotten these implants. You're the one who asked for it.
Doctor should not have put them in my face, where when I'm not trying at all, you can clearly see the outline of the implant and how they were blatantly oversized. So that's one major issue that still needs to be addressed. And then I don't know if we need to do another orbital reconstruction surgery to add more support and push the eyes further out. But I'm going to speak to the doctor this week. It's been 5 surgeries. I've been laying in bed for almost 2 years now. I spent all of my money and I don't know what to do anymore. There's no lawyers that are helping me.
This guy is just dumb. Dodo Donatillers, do you think the kind of activism Tash does is even particularly effective? I think somebody sent me some research on the disruptive activism stuff, and it seems to be roughly as effective as, you know, most other things. So I wouldn't call it ineffective, relatively speaking. Like Gary Yourofsky said in your interview, he has changed his thinking and used to think that kind of activism was good, but not anymore. Well, I think it has its place. This happens with a lot of people. Like, you'll see them get a lot of attention in the media from doing disruptive activism, but you kind of have to evolve and grow. So I think some of the big disruptions, they get attention on you, but if you just keep doing it, like, it doesn't really progress or go anywhere. So if you start doing like talks and speeches or developing social media, after you do some of that disruptive activism, well, now you have the eyes on you and you can start like educating people. So I think there's like an evolution that has to kind of take place. If you just keep doing these big disruptions, people just think you're annoying. So that's my opinion on it. I think it has its place, and I don't think it's necessarily harmful. But like, if that's all you do and you just keep doing it, like, it's just not going anywhere. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
I'm being censored and shadow banned on social media for trying to get help for what was done to my face, and I've had more revision eye surgeries than anyone has ever had on this planet, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I'm aware of, for any sort of plastic surgery. I don't think
I can guarantee you there are people who've had more revisions. There are people who are just really horrifically fucked up and botched.
anyone's gone as far to try to correct one single procedure that was messed up so horrifically. There's still asymmetries between the eyes. Maybe since that's a less serious procedure, we might be able to fix that first, but that's still not going to address the underlying issues that the eyes are still very sunken into my face and they need more support. But I'll let you guys know in a few weeks what's going on. You can check.
Frank's an idiot. Let me message Tash back. Yes, Little Miss Period Blood running around half naked, screaming at people, throwing paint everywhere, has a problem with someone throwing a tantrum. I also never body shamed Jack. I just pointed out he is skinnier than the people he claims to be starving. So either he's anorexic or the Palestinians he's talking about aren't starving. Think it was pretty obvious the point I was making. Also, if you care so much about the children in Gaza, then maybe instead of spreading anti-Semitic propaganda, you could just criticize Hamas for indoctrinating children into Islamic Jihad and training these kids to kill themselves. Yeah, training these kids to kill themselves in the name of Islam. They literally indoctrinate children. They literally create children's shows and kids camps, brainwashing them to idolize Hitler and not value their own, idolize Hitler and think that they will go to heaven if they die killing Jews. What's the thing? Hamas summer camp. Yeah, here we go.
They call them the Pioneers of Liberation and the Sword of Jerusalem summer camps, run by Hamas and Islamic Jihad.
By the way, no children are starving. All of those fake photos and videos you're seeing on TikTok are children who are inbred. Inbreeding is extremely common in Muslim nations. And these kids have some genetic mutation where they can't form certain proteins in their body, and they end up looking fucked up and emaciated. This has nothing to do with starvation. Notice how every time their parents are normal weight, but the kids look like they're starving. So either you're going to have to admit that the parents are deliberately starving their children, or they're just fucked up, inbred freaks, and they're lying about their kids' condition to trick naive... How do you spell that? Yeah. Naive idiots like you into thinking Israel's starving kids. There we go. Wonder if she's gonna read that.
Hidden cameras to record the abuse. One survivor said Epstein recruited her when she was a 15-year-old spa attendant working at Trump's Florida country club Mar-a-Lago. The president has floated at least 3 different stories as to why he cut ties with Epstein in the early 90s. Maybe Epstein competed with him on a real estate deal. Maybe he behaved inappropriately toward a girl at the club. Maybe Epstein poached staff. That's the latest one.
People were taken out of the spa, hired by him. In other words, gone. And other people would come and complain, this guy is taking people from the spa. I didn't know that. And then when I heard about it, I told him, I said, listen, we don't want you taking our people, whether it was spa or not spa. I don't want him taking people. And he was fine. And then not too long after that, he did it again. And I said, out of here.
But before that, Trump and Melania regularly socialized with Epstein and Maxwell. And for some reason, ever since she was arrested, Trump just can't bring himself to condemn her.
I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach, and I guess they lived in Palm Beach, but I wish her well.
All of this is taking place against a backdrop of rising outrage among Trump's base, because for years...
Yeah, that is really weird. I wonder if Trump knows that, she could say something about him, and that's like a poker chip that she still has to play. And that's why he's not making any kind of mean or like any kind of mean statements about her or like condemning anything she's alleged to have done. Dr. Avi donated $2. Sorry, Richard, you're wrong. There is a starvation crisis in Gaza. Not saying it's Israel's fault necessarily, but there's clearly starvation crisis in Gaza. I said so. Trump said so. People are pro-Israel, admit it. You should stop being dishonest. I'm not being dishonest. So again, I don't think everyone is like getting big buffets to eat every single day and, you know, nobody has an issue with food. So yeah, there are clearly food insecurity concerns. You know, there are people who aren't eating every single day. But the kind of horseshit that Tash and Jack are posting online, they're doing two things. One, they're claiming that Israel is deliberately starving people and they're using it as a method of warfare. And two, they're exaggerating how bad it is. So, if it were as bad as they're claiming, no one would have to post like these photos or videos of mutant freak incest babies, you know, saying, oh, look, the children are starving. If there were people who are truly starving and in a dire situation, they wouldn't be doing that. They'd just be showing photos and videos of these people who are fucked up from not getting food. So that's not what they're... So it's not as bad as people are claiming. Otherwise, again, Hamas would not be showing, like, photos of fucked up incest babies. And two, yeah, no shit, Israel is not deliberately starving anybody. The reason there's food insecurity issues isn't because of an inadequate amount of aid. It's because Palestinians, one, have to deal with Hamas, who are, like, doing shit like stealing the aid. Two, Palestinians themselves are also just like hysterical monkeys who are hoarding, you know, this food. And there's also just gangs that are forming where, again, they're trying to hoard food. It's like the toilet paper situation during the pandemic. There was never an issue with toilet paper. People just started hoarding it. And then that's what caused the toilet paper shortage. And then people paying $100 for, you know, a box of toilet paper. So, they're completely and utterly ignorant, and if they were just merely saying something like, oh, this aid situation's kind of messed up, I hope Israel can, like, I don't know, open up more aid station checkpoints and maybe regulate food distribution better or something. If they were just saying that, I wouldn't have anything to say. Fine. But they are making the claim that Israel is using starvation as a method of warfare. They're claiming Israel is deliberately trying to commit a genocide. And they're publishing garbage about children starving when, no, it's just incest. And that's not Dr. Avi, but thanks for the donation, dude.
Trump and his allies promised that they would reveal the truth about Epstein, including men who participated in abuse with him. They also claimed, without evidence, that Epstein was murdered in his jail cell.
What the hell are the House Republicans doing? They have the majority. You can't get the list? Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Now that podcasters Kash Patel and Dan Bongino are running the FBI, they've changed their tune. They say there's no Epstein client list to release and insist that he died by suicide. And on top of all that, Trump is now suing the Wall Street Journal for reporting that the president contributed a lewd drawing to a book of well wishes to celebrate Epstein's 50th birthday. And now the woman who compiled that birthday book and helped run an infamous sex trafficking ring is talking to the Justice Department. And those meetings with Blanche raise serious legal and ethical questions. Could the Trump administration offer Maxwell a pardon or a reduced sentence in exchange for cooperation? Could Maxwell lie to protect Trump and punish his enemies? And if she does, is there anything that can stop her? Ghislaine Maxwell is an Oxford-educated socialite who grew up surrounded by wealth and power. Maxwell's father was a British media mogul named Robert Maxwell, who owned several British newspapers, including the Daily Mirror. In 1991, Robert Maxwell fell off his yacht, christened the Lady Ghislaine, and drowned under mysterious circumstances. After his death, it emerged that Robert Maxwell had embezzled hundreds of millions of pounds from his company's pension funds. His empire crumbled, and the Maxwell name became synonymous with fraud. But Ghislaine moved to the United States and reinvented herself with the help of her new boyfriend, financier Jeffrey Epstein. The source of Epstein's wealth has been an enduring mystery. He began his career as a teacher at a prestigious Manhattan prep school, despite lacking a college degree. He was hired by the school's headmaster, Donald Barr, the father of future Trump Attorney General William Barr, because there are only 25 people in all of New York, I guess. Epstein later became a trader at the investment bank Bear Stearns, and after just 4 years made partner. Eventually, he established his own financial operation, claiming that he only would manage money for billionaires, which could be true, I don't know. What is true is that Epstein lived extravagantly. He owned a private island, multiple luxury homes, and 2 private jets. His philanthropic foundation made headlines, but was later revealed to be a tool for image management and tax avoidance, especially after his 2005 arrest in Florida for sexually abusing underage girls. One accuser told the Miami Herald that Epstein was preying on 14-year-old girls who were basically homeless.
Dr. Avi $2. Richard, you're completely wrong about this. Gazans are starving. Message me on Facebook or Discord and we can set up a debate. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you're the real Dr. Avi. He would just message me on Facebook. But thanks for the donation, Dr. Avi.
Another accuser said he tried to rape her. Despite credible accusations from dozens of survivors, Epstein was allowed to plead guilty in 2008 to soliciting a minor for prostitution instead of serial sexual abuse of children. Epstein's all-star legal team, including famous Harvard law professor Alan Dershowitz and former special counsel Ken Starr, negotiated the deal with the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of Florida, Alex Acosta. Epstein served just 13 months, sleeping in jail at night and free to spend his days out on work release. One of his victims alleged in a lawsuit that he continued to prey on young girls even when he was nominally in criminal custody. Epstein was never really able to rehabilitate his image, but after serving his sentence, he did return to something like his old life. He certainly had enough money. But in 2018, reporter Julie Brown of the Miami Herald wrote a devastating series of articles about Epstein's crimes and the rotten plea deal from 10 years before. By then, Alex Acosta was serving as Trump's Secretary of Labor, although he was forced to resign amid public outrage in 2019 when Epstein was re-indicted in New York on sex trafficking charges. Later that year, Epstein died in his jail cell. His estate paid more than $171 million to over 150 women who accused him of abuse. So what does Ghislaine Maxwell have to do with all this? A lot. Maxwell was a constant presence in Epstein's orbit long after their romantic relationship ended. Prosecutors said that she was not merely his confidant or his assistant, but his partner in crime. Maxwell trawled shopping malls, trailer parks, and even a summer camp looking for vulnerable young girls to exploit. She groomed them by posing as a mentor or maternal figure, and she took them shopping and invited them to luxurious estates and convinced them that they were safe. And then she introduced them to Epstein, where the abuse began. Maxwell often participated in their exploitation. During her trial, witnesses testified that between 1994 and 2004, Maxwell helped Epstein lure girls to homes in New York, Florida, New Mexico, and England. Victims testified that Maxwell was present during massages that turned sexual. Prosecutors described her as a sophisticated predator who trapped girls in cycles of abuse. In June of 2020, Maxwell was indicted for sex trafficking, transporting minors across state lines, and multiple conspiracy counts. During her trial, 4 women testified that Maxwell groomed them as teenagers. One said that she was just 14 when Maxwell approached her at an arts camp in Michigan. Another testified that she visited Epstein's Florida home over 100 times between 2001 and 2004, often leaving with $300 in cash placed on the bathroom sink. She said that Maxwell once touched her and commented that she had a great body for Epstein and his friends. Prosecutors also introduced financial records showing Epstein transferred over $30 million to Maxwell. In her closing argument, Assistant U.S. Attorney Allison Moe described the payments as "we molested kids together" money. The jury convicted Maxwell on 5 of 6 counts, including sex trafficking a minor, transporting a minor across state lines, and 3 conspiracy charges related to grooming and transporting minors. She was sentenced to 20 years in federal prison, which she's currently serving in Florida. The sentence was a significant victory for survivors of sexual abuse, but it left many unanswered questions, such as what did Maxwell know about Epstein's finances? Is there video or photographic evidence about other people who were involved in abuse? Were other people complicit, and will they ever be held accountable? Some of these questions could be answered by Epstein's victims who were cut out of the long-ago plea deal in Florida, despite explicit promises from prosecutors to keep them in the loop. But that's not who Blanche is talking to. Instead, he's talking to Maxwell alone, and that is deeply problematic because that gives Maxwell all the bargaining chips she could ever hope for in securing a presidential pardon or a sweetheart deal from the DOJ. All she has to do is tell Blanche whatever Trump wants to hear. On the other hand, on Monday, July 28th, Speaker of the House Mike Johnson, one of Trump's most rabid lapdogs, snapped back at the hand that feeds him, urging the president to back down from doing any kind of deal with Maxwell. So it's particularly interesting to see how the media is covering all of this, because when the news broke that Trump's DOJ intended to meet with Maxwell, over 392 news sources reported on it, with about 25% coming from the left, I like to access Vantage subscription. Scan the
that is a long
2 counts of perjury for false statements made during a 2016 deposition in a civil lawsuit brought by Virginia Giuffra, one of Epstein's victims. She accused Epstein and Britain's Prince Andrew of rape. Under oath, Maxwell denied knowing that Epstein had engaged in sexual abuse and denied any involvement herself. When asked whether Jeffrey Epstein had a scheme to recruit underage girls for massages, she said, "I don't know what you're talking about." When she was asked to name every person under age 18 whom she interacted with at Epstein's property, she said, "I'm not aware of anybody that I interacted with other than obviously the plaintiff, who was 17 at this point." She denied knowing that Epstein kept sex toys in his house, and she denied knowledge that Epstein had sex with anyone other than herself and 2 women whom she and Epstein had group encounters with. She said, "I wasn't aware that he was having sexual activities with anyone when I was with him other than myself." She also testified that she had never given anyone a massage, including Epstein. Witnesses testified at the trial in excruciating detail about their abuse, and the jury believed them, convicting Maxwell of participating in sex trafficking of minors. But Maxwell was not convicted of perjury because before the trial, Judge Allison Nathan agreed to bifurcate the case. So she hived off the perjury charges for a second trial because evidence that Maxwell was a liar could have prejudiced the jury on the other charges. But after she was convicted on the more serious charge, prosecutors decided not to pursue the perjury counts in light of the victim's significant interest in bringing closure to this matter and avoiding the trauma of testifying again. All of which is to say that Maxwell is a totally unreliable witness. In 2020,
I don't know why you'd figure that. You'd think the victims would want the person to be in jail for as long as possible. That is just the dumbest fucking... I don't know. That sounds weird. Yeah, let's not give her more charges. The victims wouldn't want to, like, see her rot in jail any longer. Like, give me a fucking break. What's your evidence that because that skinny Gazans are inbred children when we don't see the same situation in Qatar, which has higher levels of incest than Gaza? I can't find any evidence. Is there more incest in Qatar? I have no idea. Well, the thing with Qatar is they're more wealthy, so they may be able to do more prenatal screening, and they might just abort these retard fucked up kids before they're ever shat out. So, I don't know. But, yeah, it just could be the case that there's more inbreeding in Gaza. Could be the case that there's more inbreeding in Qatar, but people just end up having abortions or something. I have no fucking idea. But all these kids that are, like, that people claim to be starving, they're not. And again, the evidence for that is they're clearly inbred. They have, like, these fucked up retard goblin ears, weird crooked noses, balloon heads. Their arms and legs are out of proportion. And the parents are either normal weight or fat. So again, the only other conclusion you could come to is these parents are deliberately starving their kids. In which case, like, why the fuck would you blame Israel for just a bunch of barbaric apes starving their own children? Like, it's silly.
the government pointed to Maxwell's willingness to brazenly lie under oath about her conduct, including some of the conduct charged in the indictment, strongly suggesting her true motive has been and remains to avoid being held accountable for her.
Socialist donate $2. What do you think of these underpaid, manly men standing up to their bosses?
Working our asses.
You guys, get off your asses and back to work.
Come on, man, we're taking a break.
Fuck your break. There's 15 cars here that need to be serviced. Now get back to it.
Listen here, fucker. The only thing that needs servicing around here is our cocks. So get on your knees and beg like a bitch.
What?
Working our asses.
You guys.
Oh, that's a gay porn, all right. I know a gay porn thing when I see one.
Oh shit, I'm sorry.
Sorry for what? Our daddy taught us not to be ashamed of our dicks, especially since they're such good size and all.
Yeah, I see that. Your daddy gave you good advice.
It gets bigger when I pull on it. Sometimes, I pull on it so hard, I rip the skin.
Well, my daddy taught me a few things too, like how not to rip the skin by using someone else's mouth instead of your own hands.
Will you show me?
I'd be right happy to.
This guy has a really weird bald head. It's like Megamind. No, I don't watch gay porn. I just, I like some of these gay porn memes because they're funny. It's just really bad acting. Thanks for the donation, Socialist.
Her crimes. In her sentencing memo, the government said that Maxwell decides
Oh,
when...
you want to see the gay hacker?
Thank you for your service and unwavering loyalty.
Well, thank you, Netanyahu. The Mossad checks are helping me pay for my steroids, so I appreciate it. Thanks for the donation, dude.
I'm coming. Hello?
It's me, Richard.
It's 1:30 in the morning. What are you doing calling me?
Sorry to do it to you, but we have a mother of a virus ripping through a major company file.
Okay, throw me some numbers. Okay, give me your password.
My password?
Out with it.
Oral cum shot.
Oral cum shot? Yeah, that fits. Holy shit. You know, there's not too many people around who can develop a sophisticated virus like this one.
Well, can you pull it out for us?
Well, yeah. But the virus has destroyed 75% of the program already. Why didn't you call me the minute it started attacking?
I tried to stop it myself, but I couldn't. I didn't want to have to call you.
Well, if Del Tech wasn't so cheap, they'd have someone like me on staff full time. Don't touch anything. I'm pulling the virus out.
Thanks, buddy. I mean, I am sorry to call you about this.
Say, Richard, how many people at Del Tech had access to this file?
I'm not sure. Why?
The virus that's destroying this file didn't come from an outside line. Someone at Del Tech placed it there.
How can you tell that?
I guess you were sleeping during that chapter when Ted was training us.
Why would someone at Del Tech place a virus?
I don't know. Why did you?
You're nuts. I wouldn't. You just...
Richard, I know your work.
Steve, I swear.
You never learn. You and your little fucking games. Well, I hope for your sake this file has a backup.
It doesn't.
I think I already know more than I want to. Okay, the virus has been transferred onto my disk.
I hope you can keep this between us.
I won't bill Del Tech for this, but if they trace the transfer of the virus to me, I won't cover for you. Not again. Okay, bye.
Well, that's some very informative stuff on hacking.
When she wishes to disclose facts to the court, and those facts...
I don't know, like... I don't know why they'd have such a long fucking scene. Like, don't people just watch porn to watch porn? It's really weird. Ugh.
Shift when it serves the defendant's interest. And while she has information about Epstein's crimes, she also has a huge motive to lie about her own conduct and that of other co-conspirators, particularly when the person asking the question has a magic pardon key that could get her out of jail tomorrow. On July 22nd, Todd Blanche tweeted, "Justice demands courage. For the first time, the Department of Justice is reaching out to Ghislaine Maxwell to ask, what do you know?" He wasn't meeting with the victims to hear their stories. Instead, he was heading to a prison in Tallahassee to meet with a woman who showed an utter lack of remorse instead of showing even a hint of acceptance of responsibility. The defendant makes desperate attempt to cast blame wherever she can. Those are the government's own words just 3 years ago. But on July 24th and 25th, Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche met with Maxwell for 9 hours. Maxwell's attorney David Marcus reported that she answered all the questions without invoking privilege or refusing to respond. He emphasized that there has been no ask and no promise from the DOJ, nor any discussion of clemency or sentencing relief. Maxwell wasn't willing to say anything when Epstein was alive, but now she's apparently given up 100 names. Does anyone really think that Pam Bondi and Todd Blanche are pressing Maxwell to say what she knows about Donald Trump? To be frank, the whole thing reeks to high heaven. Nothing that Blanche has done here is normal protocol for eliciting testimony from a convicted felon. Here's how it's supposed to go. First of all, having the number 2 guy at the DOJ do a jailhouse interview is wildly abnormal. That is miles below Blanche's pay grade, and it's a screaming klaxon signal that this is a political operation, not a legal one. Second, when prosecutors deal with someone known to be a prolific liar, verifying the truthfulness of anything that person says is a serious challenge. It is not as simple as flipping through the files on the plane down to Florida. These cases involved hundreds of witnesses and millions of pages of documents. Evaluating Maxwell's credibility requires a deep working knowledge of the entire case. Otherwise, how are you going to know if something she says conflicts with the record? And that's not something Blanche has. But there is someone who does have that granular knowledge. Her name's Maureen Comey, and she was the lead prosecutor on both the Epstein and Maxwell cases. But the DOJ just fired her a couple weeks ago, maybe because of her last name. Trump's still spinning tales about a conspiracy led by her dad, James Comey, the former director of the FBI. I mean, maybe there's another reason she got the boot, just as all this stuff about Epstein is kicking up again. In any event, no experienced prosecutor would ever conduct a high-stakes interview like this without another witness present, usually a law enforcement officer. Because if the witness changes her story later, someone needs to be able to testify about what was actually said. Typically, the government will enter into a written agreement with the prisoner to reduce her prison sentence in exchange for testimony or information. If it later turns out that that testimony was false, the government can go into court and formally move to revoke the deal. But in order to do that, you have to have the transcript or an impartial witness, and that cannot be the lawyer himself. But according to news reports, the only other people present were Maxwell's lawyers. And if they took notes at all, those notes are protected attorney work product. That is not admissible in court. So if Blanche is doing this in a way that ensures there's no written record, one of two things may be happening. Either the government does not intend to put a formal deal out there, so there's no need to develop a record, or the other alternative is that they do intend to reduce this thing to writing, and they're just really bad at it and won't have any recourse if Maxwell lies, or I guess it could be both. In 2023, Todd Blanche left his very prestigious job at a white shoe law firm to set up his own shop. He had one client, and that was Donald Trump. He is now Deputy Attorney General, effectively running the entire Justice Department. His first lieutenant, Emile Beauvais, worked with him to defend Trump in his personal criminal cases. His boss, Attorney General Pam Bondi, represented Trump in his first impeachment. And we're not saying Blanche was down in Florida to make a deal with a child sex trafficker to protect his client, but if he were doing that, here's how that might go down. One possible route is through what's known as a Rule 35B motion. Under that provision of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, prosecutors can ask a court to reduce a defendant's sentence if the person provides substantial assistance in the investigation or prosecution of others after being sentenced. But Rule 35B1 only allows the government to request a reduced sentence within a year of the defendant's sentencing, and that deadline is already in the rearview mirror. Rule 35B2 provides an exception after the 1-year mark, but only if some specific conditions are met. To qualify, Maxwell would need to offer new information that either she didn't know until more than a year after sentencing, or she knew earlier but didn't become useful to the government until later, or information she could not have known was useful until later, and she promptly gave it to the government once she realized it was. There is nothing Maxwell knows today that she did not know 3 years ago. She has had information that will be critical to cases against Epstein and his associates for decades, information that prosecutors definitely wanted. Maxwell could have negotiated a better deal for herself if she provided it, and she chose not to. Instead, she chose perjury and she chose to go to trial. So Rule 35 should not be an option here. The most likely scenario is that Donald Trump will pardon or commute Maxwell's sentence. And Trump's allies in conservative media are already working to shift the narrative to frame Maxwell as a victim. While Blanche was meeting with Maxwell, Trump seemed optimistic.
Todd Blanche is a great gentleman. He's a great man. He's a great lawyer. He's got a great heart. But he's over there now.
Can you trust what she's telling him? She's a convicted trafficker who's eager to get out of prison.
Well, you know, he's a professional lawyer. I think he's been through things like this before.
Trump has said repeatedly that he has the right to pardon Maxwell, which is true, although the pardon power is supposed to be a solemn exercise of his official duty, not just a perk of the job, like free Gatorade in the break room. But presidential prerogatives aside, springing a sex trafficker from jail would be politically explosive. Trump's connections to Epstein are well documented, and a pardon or commutation would trigger a public firestorm, especially among the victims. Obviously, Trump and his allies would frame the move as necessary to hold other perpetrators accountable. His media mouthpieces are already laying the groundwork for that. But there's no guarantee that the public would see it as anything other than a quid pro quo. Remember, when Trump was asked about Maxwell in 2020, he said, "I wish her well." Maybe Blanche could convince Maxwell to give Trump dirt on prominent Democrats in exchange for the promise of a future pardon. You know, just give up Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, and Adam Schiff, and Trump will do for you what he did for Steve Bannon and Jeanine Pirro's husband and Jared Kushner's daddy. What, am I the only one who remembers that he pardoned all those crooks on the way out the door last time? Pardoning Maxwell to protect the president would be an absurd abuse of executive power, but guess what? That's legal thanks to the Supreme Court ruling that the president can never be prosecuted for anything that falls inside his official duties. And
I have a funny feeling that they are going to end up giving Maxwell a pardon. It looks like there's too many people who have worked for Trump for too long that he's put in place. Like, these are weird private backdoor meetings. It looks like she's going to get a pardon or like a massively reduced sentence or something.
And they made sure to say in that opinion that they were definitely including pardons in that category. I mean, it's not legal for Todd Blanche to trade a pardon for dirt on Dems, but luckily, he knows a guy who can pardon it. Meanwhile, Maxwell is still appealing her conviction. She has never accepted responsibility for the devastating harm she inflicted on these young girls, 2 of whom later died by suicide. In fact, her petition for certiorari to the Supreme Court attempts to avail herself of the protections extended to the victims in the 2008 non-prosecution agreement. Prosecutors reportedly added a clause granting immunity for co-conspirators to shield girls who were groomed by Maxwell and Epstein and then brought their friends in to perpetuate the cycle of abuse. But Maxwell argues that she, too, is entitled to immunity under this provision. On July 14th, the Justice Department filed a brief urging the court not to take the appeal, although it seems that the DOJ had to think real hard about that one. It asked for multiple delays before grudgingly asking the court not to hear Maxwell's petition. Outside the courtroom, Congress has also taken...
Dodo don't need to tell us Trump can do this in a way where he pardons Maxwell after the 2028 election, but while he's still president, so right as he's leaving, basically, and there will be zero political consequences for Republicans. They get her to accuse Democrats before election. That is possible. Yeah, that might be an angle that they're going to go with. They're all horrible, evil people. Hopefully people are fed up enough with Republicans that they just vote Dem anyway. Thanks for the donation though, Dodo.
Taken a renewed interest in Maxwell. On July 24th, the House Oversight Committee voted to subpoena Maxwell for testimony. Representative Tim Burchett, a Tennessee Republican, suggested that Maxwell might be able to reduce her sentence by testifying to Congress. At least, I think that's what he's saying.
Because I'm... Try first link and see if works on Gum Gum.
Which means, come here.
Does this cat have a deformity? It's like a weird spider cat. Meh. Gummy. Meh. 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 Gum gum. No, he's still just sitting on my racing sim rig. Doesn't seem to care. That's a really good cat. So don't think that works. Trump met Melania through Paolo Zampoli. He was a model scout who recruited girls from Eastern Europe, sat on the board of Ghislaine Maxwell's nonprofit. Well... Yeah, the conspiracy runs deep.
In an effort to combat wildlife trafficking, South African scientists are inserting radioactive material into rhino horns to make them traceable and less desirable to poachers. The initiative, known as the Risotope Project, is led by the University of the Witwatersrand and
N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N N and 7.
All right, thank you for that, Sneed. Appreciate the donation. Dodo Donatillers, you were taking photos of Gummy, so it's only fair I took a photo of you while you were saying, look at your head, looks small and arms big. Okay. Well, thank you, Dodo. I think my arms are proportionately large next to my head. But thanks for the donation, dude.
Supported by the International Atomic Energy Agency. Here's James Larkin from the university's Radiation and Health Physics Unit.
By making the horns radioactive, we are making those horns, devaluing those horns in the eyes of the poacher and the end users. No one wants a radioactive horn.
South Africa is home to the world's largest rhino population and remains a hotspot for poaching. In the first quarter of 2025 alone, 103 rhinos were killed, according to the Ministry of Forestry, Fisheries and the Environment. In June 2024, radioisotopes were inserted into 20 rhinos as part of a pilot phase. Ghent University in Belgium have confirmed the process is non-invasive and poses no risk to the animal. Ari van de Venter, founder of the Rhino Orphanage, says it is a game changer for the species.
Now with the Rhizotope project, you can't take that horn anywhere. It is radioactive. You can't take it through any airport, any harbor, any customs office. Sirens go off. It is wonderful. I'm telling you, this could be the holy grail to save the species.
The project's
How about just shoot the poachers? Seems a little simpler. Just shoot poachers. Just random vids, $20 sound on. Let me see. Okay. Was that Liver King versus Joe Rogan? Yeah. All right. You ever played this? This game was dope. No. I actually wanted this game when I was younger, but, you know, I don't even know if I would have been in my teens at that point. When did this come out? 05, so... Let me see. Yeah, I think I would have been like 14. So I had like no money, and you know, it's one of those things where you kind of have to pick and choose what games you can get, and that kind of was less of a priority for me than other games, so I never ended up playing it. But yeah, a lot of people say this game was really good. I might end up playing that with a PS2 emulator or something. Looks pretty cool. Punisher is such a sick character. They should make more Punisher games. Thanks for the donation, Just Random Vids.
One thing we got holding over her head is if we find out she lies, she goes back to her original sentence. And that's looking at lifetime. And if she's looking at maybe parlaying this into reducing her sentence, then we could have some leverage there.
Congress doesn't have any control over Maxwell's sentence, but if you're trying to make it sound like this is politics rather than justice for the victims, well, again, not sure what you would do differently. Democrats are screaming bloody murder about the apparent quid pro quo being cooked up at the DOJ. Senator Sheldon Whitehouse questioned whether Blanche was effectively operating as Trump's private lawyer. Is he really going as Deputy Attorney General, or is he going de facto as Trump's personal criminal attorney, Tom Hagen style?
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
Did Todd Blanche take a horse's head into the jail when he met with Maxwell? Well, we don't know, because there was no independent party there to witness it. I mean, Pam Bondi has fired a lot of lawyers for failing to zealously represent their clients, and by their client, she means Donald Trump. On that, she's been entirely clear. She even called the DOJ his lawyers. And you know what they say? If it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a nakedly corrupt quid pro quo being negotiated right in our faces while the real victims are ignored again. Maxwell's meeting with Blanche was under proffer immunity, which protects her statements in that interview from being used in criminal proceedings unless she lied. According to her attorney, Maxwell was asked about roughly 100 individuals involved in Epstein's network and answered all questions. Prosecutors have yet to clarify whether that immunity extends beyond the DOJ interviews. Meanwhile, we're finally hearing from Maxwell's lawyer about what she wants, and unsurprisingly, she wants a lot. In a letter to the House Oversight Committee, Marcus said, as you know, Ms. Maxwell is actively pursuing post-conviction relief, both in a pending petition before the U.S. Supreme Court and in a forthcoming habeas petition. Any testimony she provides now could compromise her constitutional rights, prejudice her legal claims, and potentially taint a future jury pool. Her legal team demanded formal immunity from prosecution, a deposition conducted outside her Florida prison, advance access to all committee questions, and a delay in testimony until after resolution of her pending appeals, including the one before the Supreme Court. Without those assurances, Maxwell's attorney said she would invoke her Fifth Amendment rights against self-incrimination. The House Oversight Committee has already subpoenaed Maxwell for a deposition scheduled the week of August 11th, but committee officials have signaled that they will not grant immunity, which is a central condition of Maxwell's cooperation. Maxwell's legal team emphasizes that progressing with the deposition without her protections would imperil her rights and potentially bias future criminal proceedings.
Did it turn you off when Jasmine's pussy would bleed and she would start complaining that it hurt while you were pounding her? Or did it turn you on more since you're sadistic and selfish? How is that not an instant turn off for you?
Yeah, dude, it's not like she's, like, gushing blood all over the place. That's not how that works. You're an idiot. Thanks for the donation, CDG.
Yes, play that game next after you're finished with Battletoads. I played it on the Xbox and it was lit. You get to blow off limbs, use the environment to commit awesome executions. Spoiler alert, you get to commit executions out of zoo. Involves a rhino's horn.
That sounds like it might be fun. Yeah, Punisher is a dope-ass character. We just need more games like that where you just do badass shit. You know, they're trickling out here and there. You know, Warhammer 40k was pretty dope, but we need some good human-on-human violence. Thanks for the donation, Grey Knight.
Proceedings, which, like, yeah, no kidding. Of course she'd prefer to say whatever she needs to say privately to Blanche and get that sweet Trump pardon and then ride off into the sunset. If she gives a deposition, it opens the door to additional prosecutions, and she also does not want to deal with prosecutors that would require her to cooperate with law enforcement and then testify at a bunch of criminal trials as part of an immunity deal. She also doesn't want to face a bunch of righteously angry Democratic and Republican politicians questioning her about all the crimes she committed against children, and it would be nearly impossible for her to give testimony without opening the door to all sorts of questions that would criminally implicate herself and other people. So, I mean, think about it. If she names names, lawmakers are going to want to know all the details. They're going to demand to know what she told Blanche, and they're going to probe what other evidence possibly exists to verify her claims, and she can't get into all that without creating a much bigger problem for
I know it wasn't gushing blood, dumbass, but you're fucking a girl who is saying, Richard, can you stop? It fucking hurts and I don't want to keep going, so just hurry up and finish. That didn't instantly turn you off? It would for every normal person.
Yeah, stupid, that never happened. So if she'd ask me to stop, I would stop. Thanks for the donation, dipshit.
For herself and possibly for Trump.
Now, all this highlights why it's so important to get a great lawyer when you're dealing with your own case. Now, after I started this channel, every week I'd get hundreds of comments and emails from viewers who are dealing with legal problems. And
Yeah, MXC was fucking dope. Most Extreme Elimination Challenge. That was the most ridiculous show of all time. I fucking loved that. I used to watch that on Spike TV when Spike TV was a thing. Most Japanese television is horrifically boring and stupid, but when they actually try to do funny shit, they're really good at it.
They'd ask, can you help me find a lawyer? How do I know if this attorney is any... Shouldn't feel...
So, yeah, it's looking like they're probably gonna give Ghislaine Maxwell a pardon or a big reduced sentence.
60 Minutes.
Women are only ever been sex workers. That's all women have ever done.
The so-called king of toxic masculinity.
It bears so many hallmarks of a cult.
Andrew Tate says awful things about women.
Basically worked for free. They worked for my love and attention.
Very scary.
So
I saw that smirk, you cheeky cunt. You've smartened up and decided it's in your best interest to lie and say you'd stop when Jasmine wanted you to stop. Because I pointed out how you admitted to criminally raping her last time. Don't worry, it's saved.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, dipshit. Can you break international law and send me some testosterone? No. Just get your own steroids. Ever watch The Man Show? I don't think so.
Why do millions of young men believe him?
Year 11, I was looking for something to cling on to.
He became your role model.
Absolutely.
That's next on 60 Minutes.
Followers. Hard as it is to fathom, Tate is in the business of monetizing misogyny, and it's made him rich.
Mike Thurston's a fucking idiot. All these influencers are such fucking idiots. Like, bro, when Tate actually gets put away for child sex trafficking and shit, like, what are these people gonna say? Like, just why did you hang out with a guy who has charges of, like, child rape hanging over his head? Like, it's all clout. Mike Thurston just doesn't fucking care, and he just hang out with this fucking child rapist sex trafficker for clout.
For anyone who doesn't know, Richard admitted to raping Jasmine about 2 or 3 weeks ago on stream multiple times. He just didn't realize he was admitting to rape since it's my wife and I need to come, okay? Look it up on YouTube, it has 2K views.
Yeah, that never happened, but thanks for the donation, dipshit.
Shit's all a lie. Abusing Bugatti, 100% guilty. Put me in jail.
You might ask yourself, how could anyone possibly get away with this?
And before you call me a misogynist, by the way, this is all female doing.
38-year-old Andrew Tate's opinions are vile, violent, and very challenging.
Bang out the machete, boom in her face, and grip her up by the neck. Shut up, bitch!
Yeah, Andrew Tate clearly likes strangling women. It's some of the stories he had on his YouTube channel that he deleted later are pretty fucked up.
But far from being repulsed, his millions of followers, mostly made up of adolescent boys and young men, revere him as a hero.
Because women can't fucking drive. I told you. I fucking told you. Girls can't drive. Women can't drive. Girls can't drive. How are women?
They are worse drivers. That is a verifiable fact. They get into more accidents than men per, like, million miles driven. And that's despite having lower instances of drinking and driving. They also don't drive for as long, and they tend to avoid the highway, and they drive slower. And despite all that, they still get into more accidents. It's just that men tend to get into more high-speed collisions. So they are worse drivers. That's an absolute fact. There's also a reason why there's very few women who are in motorsports. Like Danica Patrick, worst fucking driver. There's no women in F1. I think like back in the 70s, there was like, or 80s, there was one female F1 driver, and she was literally the worst in the entire division. And the only reason she was even there in the first place was because her dad was a huge multimillionaire, like mega millionaire. So yeah, women are verifiably worse drivers on average. I don't know why that's a controversial statement. CDG, that never happened. Not looking at Rena's is just a fucking crazy bitch. Look at the thumbnails. I don't fucking care. I don't know why that person made that channel. Thanks for the donation, dipshit.
If you have a problem, fight him about it or shut up. He has money and doesn't care.
That's great. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Women allowed to drive.
On social media, Tate's life in the fast lane, his partying ways, the private jets and expensive cars, is mixed in with frequent repugnant comments about women. He thinks it's funny, but it's no joke.
I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want. It's a means to an end.
While Tate's online presence...
Of all things they could share in this, you know, this thing, why that? Because women don't have sex with men to get what they want, right? Like, there aren't any women who are dating wealthier dudes so that they can, you know, get, you know, gifts and a certain lifestyle. How many, like, basketball players have gotten married and then divorced, like, 3 months later and then had to pay out, like, multi-million-dollar settlements? Like, it's just bizarre that they just pick that out of all things. Like, this guy has literally stated on camera that he raped a 14-year-old girl, and then they decide to clutch their pearls over him using sex as a manipulation tool. As if women don't do that too? Dodo donated $2. There are also hardly any women CEOs of Fortune 500 companies. Only 10% are women. And of those, they're not like the highest market cap companies. All of the top 25 plus or so market cap companies have male CEOs. Why is that? There's probably two main reasons. One, women don't want to work as hard or as much and aren't as competitive, so they're just not as motivated to actually do the kind of work required to earn that kind of money. And there's probably, you know, something to do with the IQ bell curve kind of thing, where there's just more men who have, you know, like autism as a superpower, and you end up having just a higher proportion of men who are like ultra autistic, detail oriented, and like will just work like crazy and are super good at things. But thanks for the donation, Dodo.
Richard Hughes, Zionist, genocide denying scum. Look at these starving children and tell me it's not real.
That is an incest retard baby. That's that same woman. So that's the same woman with the incest retard baby. This is being debunked. And again, you can just look at her. She's normal weight. So again, the only conclusion you can come to is that these women are starving their children deliberately. Starving Gazan. Larger Gazan starving baby? I don't know what the hell that's even from. 650 days without food, Gazan child. He was starving so badly he turned into a shrimp. Alright, well thanks for the donation. Pray for Gaza. How are you feeling after day 3 of June? Can you not just comment the same thing twice? Why did you do that? You've earned yourself a timeout. Learn to just, like, not be annoying.
Is slick. Not so Nathan Livingston's.
For the past 2 years, I've successfully exposed Andrew Tate.
Or Nathan Pope's.
Even though I've never had sex with a woman or any interaction with a woman, it's obvious what you said was rape. If Jasmine said oof, that hurts, that clearly means you committed rape and that you should have immediately stopped and mow the grass by the fence.
Well, in that case, I guess Jasmine raped me because she had trouble opening her mouth wide enough when she was giving me a blowjob, and she scraped me with her teeth, and I said, ow. So I'm a victim of rape because her teeth scraped my cock and I didn't like it. Thanks for the donation though, CDG.
It's a pathetic and failed attempt to intimidate and silence me.
But that doesn't deter these Aussie YouTubers from their mission to expose the truth about Andrew Tate.
I think Andrew Tate is a unique evil in the world, and he's influencing a generation of younger men.
Jeez, this guy has corn niblets for teeth. What in the fuck?
And he's...
Do you see this? Why does it... Why doesn't it work?
The world.
80% of CEOs are 60 plus. A lot of the job of being a CEO is being a figurehead for the brand. Women don't have that presence that big men have. It's more about image than the actual tasks of a CEO.
Not so sure about that. So, yeah, I don't know. But thanks for the donation, Vegan Mounds. Yeah, what the hell? I've never understood not brushing your teeth. You just, you know, you just brush your teeth after you have breakfast. You brush your teeth after you have dinner. There are people who just don't brush their fucking teeth and they're fine with having like a fucked up mouth. Like, is it enjoyable being in pain every time you have to eat food? I don't understand.
He's influencing a generation of younger men. That is a unique evil, I think.
I started looking at some videos and realising that they were targeting kids as young as 11 and 12 years old and recruiting them into what I ended up working out and believing was a cult environment.
I'm all right.
G'day, g'day.
How you doing?
How we going?
Good to meet you.
Good to meet you.
How you doing?
Good, good.
The Nathans are a somewhat unlikely duo. In fact, this is the first time they've met each other in person, but they shouldn't be underestimated. Their campaign has already seen Andrew Tate launch legal action against them, demanding they shut up and pay him $50,000.
Why do you think Andrew Tate cares about two blokes in Australia, you know, doing some online social media about him on the other side of the world?
He cares about us because even though we're smaller accounts, we have what he doesn't have.
If he did rape her, what are y'all gonna do about it? He straight up said he doesn't care how she feels and doubled down. You gonna buck up about it? VG is standing on that rape like a hard cock, so what y'all wanna do about it, says Vegan Gains.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Appreciate the donation, Vegan Gains.
Which is the truth. We have his own words on video, and it's undeniable when you actually show the truth and people see it.
As you'll see, finding the truth about who is Andrew Tate involves unravelling a dark web of social media posts and criminal investigations into alleged sex crimes.
Great performance by Andrew Tate.
The once professional kickboxer first gained mass attention back in 2016 when he was booted off the UK's version of Big Brother.
Due to events in the outside world, Andrew has had to leave the Big Brother house.
The reason? This disturbing video emerged of him striking a woman.
Yeah, and she was 14. He was doing BDSM play and making a sex video with a 14-year-old.
But far from being cancelled, Tate, with help from his younger brother Tristan, used the negative publicity to begin promoting the idea of toxic masculinity, and more specifically, that a woman is a man's property.
If I have responsibility over her, then I must have a degree of authority. You can't be responsible for a dog if it doesn't obey you.
Most people would be appalled.
When's the last time you got free pajamas? Never. Sure, fuck up.
But Tate's reputation grew online, and by 2022...
Like, I don't understand what they're trying to do here. So they're like trying to say he's a horrible person, and then they like show a clip of him saying, "When's the last time you've gotten free pajamas?" Never, 'cause you're a fuck up. Again, of all things you can criticize the guy over, of all video clips you can use, it's a fucking clip of him talking about fucking pajamas and making fun of people for being poor. The people behind this had to have been lazy, and they just skimmed through his content and just like found random clips. Like, they clearly didn't do any real research.
Soon, he claimed he'd become the most Googled man in the world. His celebrity not only fueled his extremism, it ballooned his bank balance.
He tells these kids how weak and pathetic they are, and then from the only solution to this is to give Andrew Tate $50 a month, buy his crypto, continue giving him more money. So giving Tate money is the solution to these problems.
And they will become rich and get lots of women.
They'll get lots of women, they will drive a Bugatti. So that's where all the flashy videos of Tate bragging about his wealth and women and how great he is comes into it, because he ties that into his messaging towards these kids.
Just ask any of his supporters. Andrew Tate has cleverly courted controversy to his advantage. But beneath the flashy social media facade, there are now serious allegations of assault and rape, and criminal investigations into alleged human trafficking spanning several countries.
The very first time I spoke to Andrew Tate, he told me, "I'm selling the James Bond lifestyle." And that was essentially what his initial marketing ploy to these young men was. He tried to cultivate envy in them. So he would use himself as the archetype of what an exciting, manly life should be.
Filmmaker Jamie Tarzan first met Andrew Tate in 2019, when he and journalist Matt Shea embarked on a documentary about Tate's life and flew to the influencer's base in Romania. Over the next 5 years, Jamie had unprecedented access to one of the world's most divisive figures. How dangerous do you think this man is?
I think he's incredibly dangerous, not just because of the severity of what he says, but also the scale of his reach. So there's this whole generation of young men who look at Andrew Tate and go, not only is misogyny something that's acceptable, but it's also a route to becoming rich and famous.
Jamie says much of Tate's extraordinary wealth comes from the pockets of teenage boys who are deliberately targeted.
No big deal, just the biggest online school in history.
This is where you start. Inside the real world, you'll learn exactly
Tate's pitch.
$8, have you ever been invited to a bar mitzvah, VG, and were you jealous of kids who had bar mitzvahs? No, I've never been invited to a bar mitzvah, and I've never been jealous of bar mitzvahs. They seem like a massive pain in the ass. Ugh. Glad my parents aren't Jewish and make me fucking learn Hebrew to do some dumb gay ceremony. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
To them is that his lifestyle of money, flashy cars and pretty girls is something they too can attain for a price.
Feedback, step-by-step lessons, everything designed to get you earning fast.
He convinces them to sign up for what he claims are...
Yet he seemingly left a digital footprint going back years of hours and hours of footage of him self-snitching to these crimes.
So when you say self-snitching, you mean he's boasting about it?
He's not only boasting about it, he's literally teaching courses on how to emulate it.
That's clearly infuriated the social media titan.
This man who was buff and tall and had the success and the things that, you know, every teenage boy would want.
Of Andrew Tate.
You don't understand.
That was like a really eye-opening moment for me.
The lies and the venom of social media stars.
I guess you and he who shall not be named have more in common than you'd like to think now?
No. No, not at all. Thanks for the donation, dipshit. I'm just gonna go grab a drink. I'm thirsty. I will be right back. Ah, crap. Hey, gum. Where's my gum? Ugh. Did Tash reply? Let me see. Nope. Says she read the message an hour ago, though. So maybe after carefully considering and thinking about things, she'll eventually message me. I don't know if she's thinking about, should I actually make an argument, or should I just do moral grandstanding and whine about how I'm being rude? Let's see, retard donated $2.
I'm part of a community known as ethical non-democracy. A big misconception people have is that we want everyone's rights taken away. While this is partially true, we only want this to happen once everyone has consented to an authoritarian state. This is not fascism, as I only want our turn to autocracy to happen through our current electoral processes. People seem to think that we don't respect democracy, but we actually respect it so much that we want to use it to achieve totalitarianism. True fascists want the Constitution overridden immediately, while those in the END community want to convince everyone to be oppressed before we oppress you, which is the ethical thing to do. The democratic and ethical non-democratic communities should be uniting over our hatred for fascism.
Oh, that's good. Thanks for the donation, retard.
Andrew Tate.
Having sex with girls is all good, but how do you get them to do as you say, make you money, obey you, allow you to cheat on them in front of their face, and still love you?
For me, it was year 11. COVID started, forced to kind of stop doing the things that I love doing and not being able to see the people in my life. And yeah, became chronically online, spent hours on hours every single day. It started off with this man who was...
Oh, there you go. Tash finally, after an hour, found something to say. You're publicly claiming that Jack and I are saying Israel is starving people, but neither of us have said that. You literally said that. That was literally in her message. Like, am I in crazy world? Let's just go through the fucking messages that Vegan Booty sent me. Let me see if I can scale this better, so... So there you go, Tash Peterson. So this is in response to that fucking AI video she posted. Damn, Jack really triggered you. Ranting and calling him names, so pathetic. Whether or not this particular video is real, what's fact is there is a genocide happening. So she is claiming Israel's committing a genocide. And again, since she shared this stupid AI video where people were collecting piss, the implication is Israel is starving people to death. So, like, I sent her this like, she did some whining and complaining. If I resort to having a tantrum, body shaming, name calling, mocking, starving children. There you go. So, again, explicitly and implicitly saying Israel is starving people. Deliberately. I wouldn't expect anyone to take me seriously, let alone agree to debate me, respectful discourse, blah, blah, blah. So then I message her, yes, Little Miss Period Blood running around half naked, screaming at people, throwing paint everywhere, has a problem with someone throwing a tantrum. And then I send her this video, like, saying, if you really cared about children in Gaza, you'd be criticizing Hamas, not Israel. And then... you're publicly claiming that Jack and I are saying Israel is starving people, but neither of it. You literally messaged me saying Israel is committing a genocide. I'm just in crazy dum-dum land. Okay. Well, there we are. Oh, and look at that. Jack messaged me. What did he have to say? Why are you spreading lies about myself and Tash online? Never once claimed there is starvation or food crisis in Gaza is a result of Israel. Oh, so he's lying too. Okay, let's go through Jack's messages. So they're both liars. Okay, so here's Jack. So this was all about the, AI video that he shared on his story. So then he sent me this. Like, again, you'll notice all these people are either normal weight or overweight. Whatever that shit is, they're obviously starving and suffering enough to cry for it. I wish it was AI. That video you posted on your story was clearly AI, even assuming it wasn't. The rest of the videos you sent me, notice how everyone is either normal weight or overweight. When people are starving, they tend to be extremely skinny, sort of like the Israeli hostages that Hamas is starving and torturing. Then I sent him the video of the Israeli hostage getting starved. Notice how no Palestinians in those videos you sent me look like the Israeli hostage. I've seen plenty of examples of emaciated people in Gaza. However, it's irrelevant. These examples are all one needs to see. I disagree with starving anybody. I don't see an adequate justification for mass-scale starvation and abuse. So there he is. It's not even implying. It's not even, like, it's pretty explicit. He's saying Israel is deliberately starving and abusing people. Show me one video of a starving Gazan. Haven't seen a single one. No one's starving. None of the videos you sent me show one starving person. Come on stream, debate me on Discord. Why? You're spreading anti-Semitic propaganda and you have no idea what you're talking about. Anti-Semitic propaganda? What do you mean? So again, he outed himself. He already outed himself. He admitted in these fucking messages that he is trying to give people the idea that Israel is deliberately starving people. So he could have used that excuse before by just saying, oh, well, you know, I thought it was bad. He outed himself. He admitted it in the fucking... So he has no way out. He just admitted that that was the intent of sharing this crap. You're sharing fake AI videos along with real videos of people receiving aid implicitly and explicitly claiming Israel's using starvation as a method of war. It wasn't AI. I see people fighting to get a bowl of boiling piss. If they're not starving, I don't know what is. And then, like, again, just me telling him to go on Discord. And then, I'm not interested in debating, to be honest. I'm sure there are plenty of people that would be, though. So then, you know, I go off on him, you know, telling him he's a coward, hypocrite. Then, happy to discuss more once I finish filming content for Animal Rights Dude. We'll let you know when I'm available next. Uh-huh. Yeah. So then, and again, this makes it even more stupid what he just fucking messaged me. Just send through a specific debate question/topic so I can prepare properly. So then I gave him the debate proposition. The debate proposition is Israel is not using starvation as a method of warfare. He hearted this message. So again, if he hearted the message, which is just like him saying, okay, I'll research and study this topic, he would be taking the negative position that Israel, or sorry, the affirmative position that Israel is starving, is using starvation as a method of warfare, and I'm taking the negative, which was my proposition, Israel is not starving. So he literally just said he believes in the proposition that Israel is using starvation as a method of warfare, and then he sends me this. Why are you spreading lies about myself and Tash online? I've never once claimed there is starvation or food crisis in Gaza as a result of Israel. Then why did you just say in the message, oh yeah, I'll debate you on that topic, that Israel is not using starvation as a method of warfare? I believe they are starving people as a method of warfare. Then why did you send that? Why in the previous message did you just fucking say Israel's starving people? Where it was up here somewhere. Yeah. I don't see an adequate justification for mass-scale starvation and abuse. There he goes. So, great job, genius. You're beautiful. Just amazing mind. Just mega mind fucking genius. So, they're both fucking liars who are spreading anti-Semitic propaganda. And then when I call them out for being fucking morons, oh, why are you spreading lies about us? You know what? Maybe this is why they care so much about Gazans. They are also inbred. They want to protect their own. I guess there's like this inbred thing, you know, like how, I don't know, like black dudes get along or something. I guess inbreds just try to protect other inbreds. I never stated Israel is using starvation as a method of warfare. Then why, when I gave you this debate proposition, hi Jack, hello, I see you're watching my stream. Why is it that when I gave you the debate proposition, Israel is not using starvation as a method of warfare, did you heart the message, again, signifying that you believe Israel is, in fact, using starvation as a method of warfare? Why didn't you just say, oh, well, we can't debate that because we're both in agreement? Why didn't you say, well, we can't debate that because we're on the same page there? I'm just making another type of argument. So you're full of shit. Jack, you're a fucking liar. Everyone can see through your lies. You're full of crap. So, I know you're used to, like, other dumb people, especially since you live in Australia. It's pretty easy to get by, but you're not talking to an idiot who will just believe everything you fucking say. I can read between the lines, I remember things longer than a goldfish, and I see what you're fucking saying and what you're messaging me. So, stop with the bullshit, stop fucking lying and making up bullshit excuses and just flat out lies. We're looking at the messages on screen. Give me a fucking break. So you do think Israel is using starvation as a method of warfare. Otherwise, you would have just told me, well, we can't debate that. Well, we're in agreement. Fuck off. You're a joke. Okay? So, like, I don't know. Come back when you decided to just not lie and bullshit me. Like, this crap doesn't work. I don't need to be your friend. You don't do anything for me. So the only reason that I, like, get along with other people and act cordial and nice is if there's a reason to, you're giving me no reason. I don't need you. If you're stupid, I do not need you in my life. So if you want to be dumb and play these dumb games and spread anti-Semitism, you're worthless to me. Okay? I don't need any friends. I don't make compromises. I don't need anyone to like me. You can go away. Dodo donate $2. These Palestine supporters are such liars, even the animated character of Megamind himself would find them vile. Yeah, I'd have to agree. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Bro needs to get back on some meds or something. Uh-huh. Yeah. Right, Jack. That's great. Buddy, we just read through the messages you sent me. So have fun. Like go do whatever stupid shit Australians do. I don't know, skin your knee. You know, riding a skateboard down a hill or something, get bitten by like a fucking spider, whatever the fuck Australians do. I don't need your stupid horseshit. You're a fucking joke. Okay, you literally just admitted to me you're spreading anti-Semitic propaganda, and all I'm getting from you is lies and bullshit. So, look, that's fine. If you believe Israel's committing a genocide or something, own up to it. Like, as soon as I fucking call you out on your bullshit, you just start lying again. Fuck, I keep picking up the drink that I don't want. Ugh.
Guys, it's okay. The rape victim of Vegan Gains was a man and they were basically in prison together. This was just a typical prison rape. I don't see the problem here. Let VG do what he wants. Buck up if it's a problem.
All right. Thanks for the donation, dude. Retard donated $2. Hassan admitted some Chinese gaming company paid him to play gacha games after he called them predatory gambling traps. Yeah.
What is this? Open 1 time, open 10 time? Epic or higher rarity skin guaranteed with 10 opens. I don't even know what I'm doing. Wait, what am I doing? A decoder pack? No. Buy treasure box. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Hold on. Exchange platinum coin.
Yeah, what's funny about this is the guy who claims to be a socialist. Well, he goes further than that. The guy's basically admitted he's a full-blown communist and he thinks capitalism's evil. Here he is promoting online gambling for kids. Fuck, how? Nobody has any integrity and nobody cares.
Please exchange purified data to platinum coin to purchase. Not enough purified data. Purchase more. Okay, I need to get. Okay, I'm purchasing.
Wow.
I find the casual anti-gacha discrimination problematic. Okay, well, good luck. I'm not gonna ever fucking defend you because I think gacha in and of itself is also horrible. I don't understand it. But, you know, to each their own, but I do feel like that's just also streamlined gambling. I find the casual.
Yeah. So he's getting paid to promote online gambling, and
what is this? Open 1 time?
He can't even make the excuse that he was just some, like, you know, idiot getting manipulated and didn't realize. Like, he knows what he's doing. What a piece of shit. Yeah, there's the communist for you, supporting, like, the worst aspects of capitalism. Thanks for the donation, retard. How am I doing after 3 days of juice? I feel good. I've been getting better sleep and have more energy. I don't know if it's necessarily from the testosterone, but the growth hormone's definitely helping me sleep.
Was buff and tall and had the success and the things that, you know, every teenage boy would want. I really felt tied to him because I was like, oh, finally someone I can look up to with a way of being, a way that I can be as a man, kind of like in a way that doesn't exist anymore.
Leeson's now 22. But growing up, he didn't have a male figure he could relate to. So when Tate's videos started popping up online, he was captivated by the influencer's flashy and seemingly fun-filled lifestyle.
I guess you'd call this a living room?
Wow. I reckon you could ask any boy in the world, is that something that's appealing, without filling in the blanks of more about his character? And it's like, I'd love to have a nice car one day. I hope I have an amazing wife one day. They're great things to look up to, but where's the people showing us the distinction between the good and the bad?
These days, Leeson's embarrassed that he was sucked into Tate's world of misogyny. But he wants to give others an insight into how easy it was for Tate to infect him with outdated views about the power men have over women.
Oh, geez, this is gonna probably get gay. Like, the unfortunate thing is, a lot of what Tate says about relationships is either at least accurate or just right. The problem is, like, he's also just, like, genuinely hates women, and he just chokes them and rapes them. Like, that's the disgusting shit. But a lot of his actual relationship advice is accurate and correct, and they're probably just going to cherry pick some stuff that isn't like, you know, politically correct, but yeah, we're just going to hear some cuck shit.
I think it made me think I was untouchable, and I couldn't make a mistake and that, yeah, that I was like perfect and the women in the world will kind of just like work around my way of being.
Of course, Leeson's not alone.
Look at me now!
Oh my god, this fucking movie.
You do not control what I do in my life.
Tate's vile thinking has indoctrinated so many boys worldwide, it even became the plot of hit Netflix drama Adolescence, where a boy is driven to murder a girl because of toxic masculine culture.
No, I don't know what that is.
Yeah. Like, by the way, it's so bizarre how this movie was made in the UK. Remind me again, who are those dudes going around raping underage girls? I kind of forget. Like, it's weird. There's like these group of dudes in the UK who go around literally raping underage girls. I don't think they watch Andrew Tate. I think they're like Muslim or something, and most of them are from Pakistan. I don't think most of them are like 12-year-old white kids. You also have fucking Muslims like literally committing outright terror attacks, like blowing up Ariana Grande concerts in the UK. And then they decide to make a fucking video about some white kid killing a girl because of misogyny? How often is that happening in the UK versus, like, Muslims literally raping kids? Or blowing up, like just blowing up concerts? It just doesn't seem, you know, like the most politically prudent thing to make a video about, like, or a movie about. Just retarded.
What is it?
It's the involuntary celibate stuff. It's the Andrew Tate shite.
The damage Andrew Tate has inflicted on young men like Leeson is well known to Daniel.
Yeah, so tell me how many fucking underage girls in the UK have been groomed and raped because of Andrew Tate versus because of Islam. Yeah, I think you're gonna probably find more girls becoming victims of Islam versus Andrew Tate.
Hannah Quinn. He's been a high school teacher in Melbourne for 17 years and says Tate's influence in the classroom became very apparent after the COVID lockdowns.
Once they returned to school, they started, you know, just quoting Andrew Tate all the time. And then especially online, we could see, you know, the words that they were saying, like, oh, Jack is a simp. And we were like, what's he talking about? Where does he get this from? You know, we would ask the kids and they said, yeah, it's from Andrew Tate. It's what he's been saying. And so then we researched it more and we saw that simp means a boy that respects girls. So say if a boy and a girl are getting along, they would get bullied and called a simp, you know, for no reason.
While the girls weren't watching Andrew Tate's content, Daniel noticed they were clearly affected by it. He says they were subjected to so much degrading chatter, they became desensitized to it.
Now they sort of see it as that they're joking, or they see it as kind of just the way it is.
This is a huge problem in the working class neighborhoods in the UK. A lot of the Muslim migrants are going to the, like, shitty, you know, poorer parts of the country. And these Muslim kids that are going to these schools are harassing all the girls. There was a big news story about this where one of these young girls was getting threatened to be raped on a near daily basis. And the teachers wouldn't do anything about it. And these are Muslim kids that are immigrants. Why is that? Oh, right, brown people. It's racist to ever point out that Muslims are responsible for anything. So, like, again, considering, like, what is and isn't a bigger problem for the UK, like, yeah, let's sweep the grooming gang thing under the rug, but, yeah, kids watching Andrew Tate and calling each other a simp for being nice to a girl, yeah, that's a bigger problem. But, you know, kids getting mass raped, like, thousands of kids getting groomed, whatever. Yeah, the Muslims can just do that. We'd be racist if we did anything about it.
Now,
I mean, as a teacher, that must really worry you.
yeah, it's really, really hard, and it's another challenge for us to try to resolve and sort of teach girls that this kind of behaviour is wrong.
Women in your life care about you, but don't listen to their advice because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
You ever got a hiccup that hurt your sternum because it kind of got stuck in your chest and it's sore for a few seconds, and I try to burp and it won't come out? Yeah, I've sort of had that.
They don't know anything.
As Andrew Tate is now being investigated for trafficking and rape, Daniel hopes the boys he teaches will unfollow and hopefully forget the influencer. But Jamie Tarzan, who spent months with Tate while filming a documentary about him, is not so hopeful Tate's popularity will wane.
The number one thing you're taught as an Andrew Tate fan is don't trust civil society, don't trust journalists, don't trust politicians, don't trust the police, they're all lying to you. So when someone like the
When's the On the Juice workout vids coming out? The 7th of July 1977?
I don't know. We're gonna be doing that at some point. Thanks for the donation though, Buttercunt.
BBC or Vice or 60 Minutes come out and say something about Andrew Tate, making allegations against him, for his followers, all that really does is double down in their view that Andrew Tate is right, because Andrew Tate's told them, the media are liars and they're gonna lie about me. They're going to lie about me. So then when we publish stuff about them, whatever we publish, his followers immediately think it's a lie because that's the world he's created in their heads.
Luckily for Leeson Timms, he managed to break free from Andrew Tate's spell.
For a lot of the boys, it's their first time hearing that.
He now works with the Man Cave organisation, educating students about healthy masculinity.
My personal experience has led me to where I can walk into a room of teenage boys and understand them. Because everything in my body at times wants to call them out and tell them what they're doing, what they've said is wrong or hurtful, but yeah, from my personal experience, I know that they need curiosity and they need compassion. It's something that they're missing. Boys can't be what they can't see. So if they don't have the right people in front of them, how are they supposed to act? Of course they're going to act out. I did.
Pimp, mafia associated criminal.
Coming up, fighting for justice, the women who say they've been abused by Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan wear arrogance and defiance like a badge of honour. Despite serious allegations of sex crimes against both of them, they maintain they've done nothing wrong.
We've yet to be convicted of any crime in our lives ever. We have no criminal record anywhere on the planet ever.
American model Bree Stern says otherwise. She had a long-distance relationship with Andrew Tate that began last year. It ended in March this year, when what she thought was going to be a romantic evening at a hotel in Los Angeles turned violent. Her lawyer, Tony Busby, says Bree suffered unimaginable abuse.
They were in a relationship for about 10 months. It was a very close relationship that we allege in our claim grew more violent over time and more aggressive, where it culminated in March of 2025 this year at the Beverly Hills Hotel, where she says that Andrew Tate choked her and beat her to the point where she was bruised, and she knew this was progressively getting worse.
Text messages between Bree and...
All these girls know about this, by the way, before meeting Andrew. Everyone knows he was kicked from Big Brother because of the, like, weird situation with that sex video with the underage girl. Everyone knows about the rape charges he had against him in the UK that the prosecutor just decided not to, you know, pursue. Everyone knows about the current sex trafficking charges. And these girls just keep flying out to meet him. They all know about this. So, they're stupid. So they want a guy who they think is a violent criminal because that's just what they're attracted to. So, yeah, Andrew Tate's a terrible person, lock him up, but let's just not forget that these women are just fucking stupid, and they're looking for this kind of abuse.
And Andrew showed the alleged violent nature of their relationship.
You need to be hit.
Why? I don't like it. What did I do?
You deserve it. Because I want to beat the fuck out of you. You will give me a child this year, bitch.
Why do you want to beat me? It's 12:30 a.m. I'm in the room. I sleep soon.
What's the point in having you if I don't beat you and impregnate you? You should be thankful.
In another text message, Tate alleged.
That sounds like ChatGPT talking to itself and pretending to, like, act as if it's in an abusive relationship. It's so weird.
Alleges that.
So they're in separate rooms texting each other, and Andrew Tate is saying he wants to get up and beat her and make her pregnant? Like, what?
He enjoys beating Bree because he found it relaxing. I mean, Nasty doesn't even begin to cover something like that.
They're shocking. It's hard to imagine someone would send that to someone and then a few texts later tell them how much they love them.
Bree is the first woman to publicly identify herself as an alleged victim of Andrew Tate. But she's not the only one making accusations. There are multiple lawsuits and criminal investigations running across the UK, US and Romania, some of which allege widespread abuse and human trafficking at the hands of Andrew and Tristan Tate.
In my opinion, I don't think they're unusual in their methods and what they did and how they did it. I think the only real thing that's unusual about them is that they bragged about it so much.
Danny Pinter is an attorney with the United States National Centre on Sexual Exploitation. In 2022, her client, known as Jane Doe, flew to Romania, thinking she'd be travelling around Europe with her boyfriend, Tristan Tate. Instead, she found herself in the middle of an alleged sex trafficking operation. When she got to Romania, what happened?
When she got there, she was quickly moved into a house with other women.
By the way, I'm pretty sure the text messages with this girl were part of some of the public court filings, and Andrew Tate told her he's a career criminal connected with the mob, and he basically does drug dealing, trafficking, money laundering. And this girl still, oh, you're a criminal? That's how you make your money? Oh, I'll fly out to meet you. Oh no, I'm getting abused by a criminal. Like, so yeah, like, I mean, again, lock the guy up, he's a piece of shit, but like, these women are just fucking stupid.
Women who appear to all be working in webcam pornography, and she witnessed a lot of women in this house, you know, surrounded by sex toys, going into their rooms ostensibly to perform on webcam for many hours at a time, late into the night. They didn't seem happy in her opinion. They didn't seem healthy in her opinion. They all seemed to be in romantic relationships with the brothers, which seemed odd. And there was this restriction of movement of all the women.
Frightened and alone in a foreign country, Jane Doe raised the alarm and police raided the Tate compound. The brothers were taken into custody and eventually charged with trafficking and other offences.
that it's a rubbish case, right? If they had an argument to make, I'd be in prison already, but I'm not. That's what he always says. So it really allows him to create himself.
Would you rather have a health problem where you fart every 15 minutes and they stink bad, or burp really loud every 30 minutes and you can't silence it? I'd rather have the burps.
As a kind of martyr if things don't go his way.
But even if things do go,
what I
the
have
Tate
here
brothers
just looks like a bunch of generic metal chunks. However, what I think is cool is that this is actually pure calcium. I've always thought it was weird to think of calcium as a metal, but I mean, it is. It's also pretty sensitive to air and moisture, which is why it's safely stored and protected in this glass ampule. But anyway, now that the calcium is free, there's something I've been really wanting to try with it. So I collected a small amount of it, and now I just want to drop it into some water. It all started reacting almost immediately and turning into calcium hydroxide, which was making the water white. On top of this, though, it was also releasing flammable hydrogen gas, and I really like the little popping sounds.
That's neat. That is neat.
Scooby is just like a toddler in the house.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
He'll usually jump on top of a cabinet and scream.
Wow.
Why?
Oh my god, that is a special cat.
How are you gonna get down?
He has learned how to open doors.
See you later.
Oh my goodness.
And then we're having an actual conversation.
Oh wow, that's a nice kitty. Oh my god.
And he likes to get the last word in.
Wow.
You can't hold me hostage anytime I go into the pantry. No.
Do you guys hear that meowing? That's pretty good.
What's up, Scooby-Doo? Good morning.
Oh my goodness.
I was expecting that. He's kind of crazy.
What a nice cat.
But he's really exceeded my expectations in every way.
Wow.
Finally quiet. I said finally quiet.
Such a nice kitty.
I got Scooby 6 years ago.
Wow.
From the first day. He said, all right, I'm going to make this the house of my dreams.
Wow. I like this cat.
Whoa. Whoa.
This is Jack.
Whoa. Oh.
That is so weird.
His voice is a little deeper than most cats.
Wow. That cat says, whoa.
Hey, buddy.
My goodness.
You say hi? You say hi?
Oh.
Good boy.
Whoa. That's a good catch. Oh my god.
Phil's family, they got together and put hundreds of thousands of dollars together to move Phil to one of these places.
And it's a costly ordeal when the extortion starts. Here, the root of the problem is that in Mexico, the cartels control everything. From the police. Again, a rehash, Phil had no interpreter. He barely speaks he can't even put a sentence together in Spanish, okay? So there was fabrication with everything they claim he said.
Earlier this year, Phil Baroni, the UFC and MMA fighter, was arrested and charged with the murder of his girlfriend in a hotel room in Mexico. He was then thrown into prison in one of the most dangerous prisons in the world, Cerezo Prison, which we know is run by the cartels. Now, we heard stories that things happened to him. Security guards punched his teeth in. People in the prison did other things to him that I don't want to even talk about on this channel. We heard lots of things.
Jeez.
But we haven't heard anything new. And finally, I have an update because I spoke to his best friend, somebody that Phil is really close to and speaks to him while he's in prison. And he told us many things that have been going on in the latest on Phil Baroni. Phil was moved into a halfway house that's run by the cartel. And I spoke a little bit about what a halfway house is like in Mexico. You could have weapons, you could have drugs, you can have all different types of things, right? Well, the family, Phil's family, they got together and put hundreds of thousands of dollars together to move Phil to one of these places.
And it's a costly ordeal when the extortion starts. The cartels run the police, they run the halfway houses, they run the prisons, and we were able to get Phil into a safe place, halfway house type situation.
And they wanted him in there because this is Mexico. And you don't have the right to a speedy trial like you do in the United States. So he would be in that bad part of the prison for many years. Who knows if he would even live it. Now, saying that, in that halfway house, Phil can do a lot of things. He can work out, he can train people, he can bring sharmutas in, do bad things with them, drugs, alcohol. Like I said, you paid the cartel hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can do and get away with a lot of things.
Where he's able to train, work out, train others. He can have tequila, and he can have women there. Phil loves to smash the ladies. That's no secret. But what happens is this is a costly ordeal to get him there. It's close to 6 figures. They extort the family. That's what happens in Mexico. And I want this to serve as a cautionary tale for anyone thinking of traveling to Mexico. My best advice would be don't.
But one night, Phil.
Yeah, do not go to Mexico. That's fucked. I would never go to Mexico. I've heard a lot of stories of people going to these resorts that are supposed to be safe, and then like cartel members hack them up into pieces or kidnap them.
Brought a sharmuta in, and he did some things with her, and I guess she gave him drugs, and then you know what they did? They extorted the family for even more money because he did something he wasn't supposed to do. So Mexico's not a place you want to mess around.
And what happens is they'll re-extort. So in Phil's case, they brought a lady of the night in to take care of the New York badass, and she brought crack cocaine and fed it to him. They videotaped him, and then they re-extorted on the original extortion to keep him there. And the point is to keep him there where he is safe. Because Mexican prisons, especially if you're an American, they're rat holes. And what happens to a lot of Americans is once they can no longer extort you, they send you there to die.
Now, Phil's family insists that Phil is innocent. But I spoke to the friends of the victim, family members, and they think Phil isn't.
And it's a horrible situation. There is no right to a speedy trial. Understand that. And that's why getting Phil into a safe place is so important. They'll tell you that in this case, there was so much police misconduct, and they'll tell you they're going to have these hearings, but this could go on for years and years. Phil could be there a decade from now and hopefully in the same place, not in a prison. But it's an extortion rap. The New York badass is a gangster, was a gangster in his younger days, worked with my friend Johnny Haley, worked with the Gambino family, but he was never a killer. He's not a killer. And he, as I said, the tremendous amount of police misconduct here that our investigators discovered. I mean, with our firm out of San Antonio, we actually have former district attorneys that were on the ground that investigated this and found that he was not given an interpreter. There were other men seen entering the room.
When you're in Mexico, it doesn't matter if you're innocent or not. I remember stories, even me, myself, personally, I lived in Arizona. You drive across the border, they stop me, I had to pay off the guys to let me go. I remember a neighbor, blonde, beautiful. She went to Mexico. She went to Rocky Point just to have fun on the beach. They put her in a jail in there for 3-4 days. Who knows what they were going to do to her? She had to come up with money to get out. So I'm saying this because it doesn't matter if you do bad things or not. When you're in Mexico and you have cartels and corruption and things like that going on, it doesn't matter because...
Sengoku donated $2. From strictly a logical perspective, would you say this is a non sequitur? She registered as a Republican in Florida since 2024. Getting famous from a show about a black lesbian drug addict and her trans girlfriend, then registering as a Florida Republican in 2024 is foul. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Like I'm assuming what she's saying is she is like, I don't know, doing media that has to do with like pro LGBTQ stuff, and then she registered as a Republican, which is hypocritical in her mind. It's not technically a non sequitur. Like, she didn't really form an actual argument here, but it just sounds like she thinks it's hypocritical to do acting that promotes LGBTQ, but then vote Republican. Thanks for the donation, though, Sengoku.
Good luck finding the truth, right? And then secondly, you're gonna have to pay no matter what. So Phil is in a bad situation regardless. If he did, kill the girl, if he didn't kill the girl, we don't really know. Who knows if we'll ever find out. In the end, we still have a victim. You say your prayers to that victim, she died.
They name a figure where you can get completely out of it and come back to the United States. Problem with paying that is they can screw you. And you're dealing with the cartels, you're dealing with con artists. At our border right now, our border, and I want to stress this because I am an executive consultant currently for Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Bobby Kennedy Jr.'s Super PAC, and working on a number of really cool things with Bobby in the combat sports world as well, getting him at UFC, coming up at Madison Square Garden, some other really cool things, getting him out of some of the top training camps and so forth. And I want to make people aware that it doesn't matter. The facts don't matter. It's about the extortion in Mexico. And currently at our border, literally the cartels are controlling who enters. Check out Bobby Kennedy's video on that. He spent time down there, and people from other countries are being extorted. They're being sent to the U.S. to work for the cartels. It's horrible. It's not all margaritas and senoritas in Mexico. And Phil Baroni is an innocent man. I strongly believe that, but the extortions continue.
Who is he fighting under? Yeah, what was the last promotion he was fighting under? Because this guy's on steroids. The guy's red. He's clearly on gear. I don't know what That looks like the UFC. That has to be before USADA. Really weird. Yeah, this is like pre-USADA, I guess. This guy is on fucking steroids, bro. I know he got popped for steroids in the UFC at one point, and then he said, like, yeah, no shit, I'm gonna be on steroids. So I wonder if he was in, like, Strike Force or something afterwards. But yeah, this guy was on gear. Son Goku donated $2. Are you familiar with the WNBA and Caitlin Clark drama? Lots of people think black girls are jealous of white girls, making the sport popular. What is this? Racism in the WNBA. The white girls are over it, not taking the BS anymore. Sophie Cunningham, Indiana Fever, speaking out. They just don't like white girls dominating their game. Let's just call it what it is. Racism, blah, blah.
Let's just call it what it is, racism. It started with Caitlin Clark, and now it's me. Y'all see it. When white players start hooping at a high level, suddenly we're cocky, deserve to get hit, or we're too emotional. But let's be real, they just don't like seeing white girls dominating their game. I've been...
Dude, black girls who play in the WNBA are fucking cunts. Like, they're all dickheads. That's another reason why the WNBA is so unpopular. None of the athletes are likable. Like, they're the most toxic assholes.
elbowed, shoved, even had players whisper threats during plays. And for what? Because I play hard? Because I won't back down? That's not just physical, that's targeted.
Is this AI? This sounds like AI.
That's hate. And I'm not staying quiet about it anymore. If I get hit dirty...
Yeah, this sounds like AI.
I'm swinging back. Period. I did it before, and I'll do it again. I'm not here to play victim, I'm here to compete. But I'll never let...
Yeah, this is some TikTok, like, AI trash. Thanks for the donation, Son Goku.
Continue. Be careful. This is a cautionary tale.
But someday you'll be back, and together...
Go ahead and start with Frogie. Of course, I've got my PP. Now it's the same PP, but I'm going to do it differently and do it kind of special for you guys. So, you know, this is a very special PP because it's live. So let's talk about this. Frogen is literally about to default early next week. What has she done with the 50K she raised? We have not heard from her or her attorney at all. She has like 5 days to respond to our complaint or she loses by default. And this was last night. So it's probably down to 4 days. So after this came from Ethan. So this is from Ethan, right? This was a Snarkers. And this is one of the most legally inaccurate takes. That's one of the most legally inaccurate takes ever. Okay. This is from the Snarkers. Can't wait to see the case dismissed after Fro. What is she like? First of all, who calls her Fro? Like when I hear them call her Fro, it sounds like she's Froyo. Okay. Like I can't not think that she's frozen yogurt. So let's get into this.
We don't have Trader Joe's in Canada.
After Fro files a motion to quash after being improperly served. This dude is such an idiot. He has all of his money and doesn't know what to do with it. So therefore, his quack of a lawyer is just taking it from him. LMAO. This is really funny. Okay, well, first of all, let's correct the record. All lawyers are greedy, money-sucking, soulless quacks. No, they're all crazy in a special way. All lawyers are crazy in a special way. But beyond that, this is procedurally inaccurate and completely wrong. And I'm going to explain how this is just completely wrong. So, first of all, let's explain what a default judgment is, okay? Default judgment is a court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, typically because the defendant does not file a defense or the defendant doesn't acknowledge the claim. So, you know, if you just want to stick your head in the sand and pretend you don't know what's going on, you're likely going to get a default judgment. Now, there are certain circumstances in which not receiving service is a real thing. However, in this case, Ethan Klein has multiple methods. He can, obviously have what we call hand deliveries when you're hand serviced, but there's also service by publication. So you can publish it in a newspaper journal circulation, and that can generally get back and serve service. And beyond that, we all know that Frogen knows about this lawsuit. Like, it's not something that Frogen doesn't know about. It's very public. So it's very clear what's going on here to a judge. That Frogen is trying to dodge this. Frogen is trying to evade this, right? And
Dodo donate $2. This would be a great publicity VG if you can get Isaac Butterfield to host a debate between you and Vegan Booty, since he likes to talk about both of you. Even to this day, he talks about Vegan Booty. So can you DM him on Instagram right now? Actually, ask him to mediate. No, I'm not gonna bother. Look, they've proven to be both very stupid, silly people, and they're anti-Semites. I don't know why they're just not worth my time. Yeah, all they can do is whine, cry, lie. They're just not worth my time, and I'm not gonna... I'm not interested in some stupid clout-chasing game where I go to my way to, use Isaac Butterfield. I don't fucking care. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Kid Boo donated $2. We all, am I crazy, or did we all see the fucking messages? They literally admitted to me in these messages that they think Israel's committing a genocide. They're using starvation as a method of warfare. And then when I call them out on their bullshit, they then say, "Oh, we never said that." I'm just not... I'm not interested in playing these stupid fucking games with stupid people. Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie ticket sold out in just 15 minutes. Record-breaking sellout. I don't fucking care. Demon Slayer sucks. Somehow brown people don't understand the difference between eating sandwiches and sucking slop out of your palms. Yeah, it's pretty gross. Thanks for the donation, Kid Boo. Grape is right, donated $2. Why are black girls so jealous of white girls? Can a rapist be forgiven? What do you think? And don't be biased. Is murder justifiable if someone is bullying you?
Adaptive responses to dysfunctional
I'd say it depends.
environments are not lifelong brain disorders. Adaptive...
I don't give a shit about that dumb girl. Thanks for the donation, dude.
Ethan Klein, through this default judgment, this court ruling in favor of the plaintiff, he would win without Frogan ever having a chance to assert defense. So Frogan, even if she gets this default judgment, so even if the court ends up ultimately siding with Ethan Klein and saying, hey, default judgment. And remember, with a default judgment, that isn't a win for Klein. He gets what he wants. So he'll get damages, whatever else he wants, injunctions, removal of the video, whatever he wants. He's going to get that by default. Just say, well, this person's not fighting back. So, okay. And then he can proceed. If she doesn't do anything, she can proceed to collecting on that judgment at a certain point. However, Frogi Yogi does have a potential opportunity to challenge the default judgment. And she does that with an objection to the default judgment, which is a motion to set aside. So she can make a motion to set aside the default judgment. Now, she does need to have a valid excuse, right? So not receiving the claim could be if the service, all types of service, were invalid. But I guarantee you that at least one type of service that they used on this, whether it was, hand delivery or publication or some sort of substitute service, was legally sufficient to provide notice of service or sufficient service to proceed with the case. They're not going to issue the default judgment typically if it was completely bunk service. But the burden would be on Frogi to prove that. And beyond that, you'd have to have something like illness or extreme emergency. And as far as we know in the Frogan case, Frogan is not in the hospital. Frogan is not under extreme emergency. Frogan was not in a crisis zone, right? She's not somewhere where bad stuff.
Once again, proplastines are liars and bad ones at that.
Yeah, it's just what they do. Thanks for the donation, though, Dodo.
Is going down, right? Or she'd have to prove a procedural error, right? However, she has to respond to do this. And that response has to be very prompt and persuasive. So she'd have to do that anyways. So she's going to have to go back, write the court, and explain why.
Do an impression of a tech nerd turned gangster rapist and doubling down on a rape he did when someone tries to call him out. If you can't do Toes, do one of a tech nerd being bullied by his boss and wife and her side man.
You only give me $3, so no. Thanks for the donation, dude.
She did not respond before, etc. And the judge is not obliged to accept that. The judge can say, I don't accept this. We're still sticking with the default judgment. Now, here's the thing. Here's the biggest thing. And here's where the snarkers are completely wrong. This is where the snarkers just are completely stupid. Is even if Frogi objects to the default, and even if the judge grants her motion, if everything goes the same way, you know what the end result is? It's not the case being dropped, kids. It's the case proceeding as normal. So if Frogan goes through all this extra work, all she's going to do is have the case proceed as normal. Literally, somebody in the chat said it. Who said it here? Square one. It's back at square one. Congratulations, Frogan. You literally did nothing. You do all this work for freaking nothing. Wow, Queen. Wow. So smart. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. Sigma.
Sorry, I accidentally donated wrong amount.
Tech nerd turned gangster rapist, doubling down on a rape he did when someone tries to call him out if he can't do the TOS. Do you want to have a tech nerd being bullied by his boss and wife and her side man? Okay, some people say that the thug life didn't choose them, but they chose the thug life. But in my case, it was very much myself choosing the thug life, as I realized that after taxes, I would only take home an income of $132,000.76, and that is before also having to pay for insurance costs. So I realized that there was an emerging market of fentanyl that I could take advantage of, in which that I do not have to pay such exorbitant taxes for, and I could also put most of the funds back into other investments, and I could also support some of my so-called homies. And for those of you who are complaining about that bitch Letitia saying that I raped her, well, look, honey, if you steal a bunch of my own supply of fentanyl and you say that you're down for some business and you sleep halfway through, that is not on me, that's on you, sister. All right. Thanks for the donation, Grape is right. Appreciate it.
Right? We're just going crazy here. We're just going crazy. But let's also talk about the money. The money. So here's our lovely Frogie. And she's got, her legal defense fund at this point at $35K. She also had other donations from other places. So I believe, Ethan's number was around $50K. He's tracking this closer than I am. So let's just assume that it's $50K, but she's got at least $35K here. But she had this legal defense fund. And my concern is, what about the money? What did you do with the cash, Frogan? What did you do with the cash? You're clearly not spending all that money on your lawsuit. And so the question is, where is that money going, Frogan? Where is that money going, Frogan? Is that going to your muffin budget? Because it's certainly not going into responding to the claims, right?
Yeah.
Certainly not going to respond to the claims. And what happens if the funds were diverted to purposes other than the legal defense? That's a possible crime. That's a possible crime. Theft by deception, false pretenses, fraud, this type of fraud, also wire fraud. So we're talking about potential theft or fraud. Did it go into an IOLTA? That's a very good question. We don't know. We don't know. And once again, this is speculation. So out there, let me be very clear. It's me speculating. It's a question I'm asking. And I don't know. And we need to know, where's the money, Frogan? What are you doing? The other thing is, if she was misdirecting these funds, she could be fined. There can be restitution, right? Meaning the money is returned to the people that donated. And there can even be prison time. So we need to figure out what's going on with that money. So last night, this was the language last night. Tell me if she changed this language, because I highlighted this, and this is what was up last night, as of last night. Okay. So after 2 years of target harassment campaign against me, Ethan Klein has now escalated it into suing me for reacting to his video on Hassan and myself on his video titled Content Nuke Hassan Piker.
Prophet Mama Mind was such fucking a creep.
Yes, he was. Thanks for the donation, Dodo.
This fundraiser to cover any and all legal fees associated with this complaint and any counterclaims I have against them. So stop there. So far, as far as we know, she has not paid any legal fees, and she definitely hasn't filed any counterclaims. So as to these two, they're wrong. Now, here's the part where we might get into some debate. This next part, the part I underlined. She puts any other bills, and personal expenses. So she's going to argue, oh, I can put food under that. I can put makeup under that because I need to look pretty for litigation. I can do all this sort of stuff. That's a personal expense. I can pay for like 22 layers of cover up, right? Under personal expense, because that's a personal expense. But the problem is, and then the rest of the time, from lost wages and damages arising from this litigation. Well, the question is, when you have arising from, if you're not participating in the litigation, if you're not fighting back, there's no litigation to speak of. Therefore, it's not arising from the litigation. So despite the fact that personal expenses is here, and that might be valid, it's in connection with the litigation. It's not personal expenses for her to go on a personal trip, right? Or her to go.
This is great. Ethan is just masterfully annihilating these clowns.
Go buy a sandwich or whatever, Chipotle. It's not for any of that. Okay, so that is a situation where she may have some trouble. All right, so let's get into denims. Let's go deep on denims, okay? Even though she's disloyal. Here is this discovery matter. It's an order granting a stipulation for the plaintiff, that's Ethan Klein, he's Tate Entertainment, to serve third-party subpoenas prior to Rule 26F conference. So this is literally, remember, as a reminder, disloyal denims literally betrayed the Reddit mods. She stabbed them in the back. She refused to defend them at all. She completely sacrificed them to the corn in order to get this moving along, right? And she gave up all of their information. She said, you know what? You can subpoena them and you can get all their information. That's denims. That's the type of girl she is. Once again, this is why these people are going to fold like a sack of cards. They have no loyalty for each other. They don't care for each other at all. All of this, we're one big community. We're one big proletariat. That falls apart. That falls apart immediately when push comes to shove. They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad, right? They're pushing each other in front of the firing squad. And we see this with denims right now. Completely under the bus. Upon consideration of the joint stipulation, granting plaintiff leave to serve third-party subpoenas prior to the Rule 26F conference, the plaintiff, TEDx Entertainment, TEDx Inc., and defendant Alexandra Marwa Saber, PK denims, dirty denims. And for good cause shown, the court hereby rules as follows. The stipulation is granted. TEI, that's Ethan Klein, may immediately serve the subpoena attached as Exhibit A to the stipulation on the third-party Reddit, that's so Reddit in general, accompanied by this.
Dodo donators, even this guy knows pro-palatards like Hassan are full of shit. Yeah. I think every real human being knows they're full of shit. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. Retard donators, infinite money glitch, buy WNBA ticket, buy blue dildo, max bet on blue dildo. You can now bet on what color the next dildo thrown on a WNBA court will be. Oh God. Yeah, that is true. You could smuggle a dildo into a WNBA game and fix it so that you just automatically make money. Oh, that's hilarious. Thanks for the donation, retard.
Do an impression of Fleece Johnson, aka the Booty Warrior, talking about how booty is more important than water.
Our lives revolve around getting booty. Booty's just... it's more important than food. Man, sometimes we want booty so bad. We need booty more than water, man. Booty's more important than water. There you go. Thanks for the donation, Ben Boy.
I have some bad news. My friend who runs the channel Veganism Exposed is going through some pretty bad suicidal depression. That's why he isn't uploading anymore. Can you give him some words of encouragement so he can feel better?
Yeah, stop being a pussy and finish it. Thanks for the donation, RV. It's not that hard, just tipping over YouTube TOS, but you get the picture. I don't want that guy around anymore. Some good news. Thanks for the donation, RV.
Disorder, and shall include the date of the Reddit subpoena. It was issued in the date of compliance. And they may also serve subpoena on Discord. Uh-oh! Granted by Wesley L. Hugh, maybe, a United States District Judge, July 31st. So the point of the matter here is that we have a official subpoena of Discord and Reddit. And Discord and Reddit, I'm telling you right now, and I know this, I have friends that are civil litigators, I've seen this in other cases that we've studied, etc. Discord and Reddit are going to turn over all the data. They do not care. They have no dog in the fight to defend these people. None. Zero. They do not care. They do not want to fight and want to go into a huge legal battle over fighting the disclosure information. They're just going to do it. They're going to roll over and do it.
But then also, because some of your cohorts leaked your Discord messages to us, we have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have
that's it. Hold on, let's play it one more time.
Messages to us. We have some of your Discord IDs, and guess what? We're gonna if anyone's gonna have your real identity, it's gonna be right there. We're gonna have all your messages. Discord. And listen, don't try to erase them. If you erase them now, it's not gonna look good.
You guys remember that? You guys remember what that is? Now, obstruction, it can be obstruction, but spoliation of evidence. That is exactly right. You guys in the class paying attention. So let's continue. Let's play the rest of this.
And you should know that I'll still get them even if you erase them. Because the companies hold.
Yeah, they don't really delete that stuff.
Yeah, and that, so I'm getting it, So you can erase, you can run, you can cry, you can piss, you can bitch. But I'm coming. And you're about to find out what happens when you a stranger. And
there it is.
We got to pull that sound.
Okay. I will gladly do that. Great scene.
But then also.
So the point is that even if they delete it, it's not going to matter.
That's funny. They're fucking screwed, dude. I'm glad he's finally able to take some of these Hassan orbiters down. Eventually I'm sure Hassan is going to get taken down at some point. So you just gotta remove all the little fucking pawns protecting him, and then I'm sure Hassan will be taken out eventually. Alright, it's like 2 in the morning. I was planning on just taking a nap for a couple hours and then streaming a bit earlier, but didn't exactly work out that way. Just needed a bit more sleep. But, should be streaming tomorrow. So I'll see you guys then. We'll see what new nonsense, pops up. Sure, there might be something stupid. Maybe Jack and Tash will post some dumb shit on their Instagram that I can react to, because they're, all lying about this whole Israel thing now. Dodo donated $2. Wonder how Hassan will react once he is finally taken down. I don't know. I'm sure he'll be pretty upset and start whining and crying. Thanks for the donation, Dodo. But I will see you all tomorrow. I hope you have some sweet dreams. And as always, keep making those vegan steroid gains. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Nighty-night.